Hello and welcome to Nerdic God Spoils The Last of Us Part 2. This is our first spoiler cast type thing that we're doing, and what a game we got to do it with.
Yeah, finally. We've been talking about doing one for a long time.
Yeah,
Such a long time.
Now we're finally here. I wanted to start with let's just get everyone's overall opinions on the game. From here on out, it is all spoilers. You can say whatever the fuck you want about the game. You know, you can say that Joel dies.
Right off the top.
Liz, Ellie, Liz, all this shit. Say whatever. So I'll start with mine. I love the game overall. I know we talked about it in our other normal podcast. I thought it was great. I love the way you see the different perspectives from Abby's point of view, and this game, it really made you mad that Joel died, right? Especially the way they did it, and you really felt that. I really hated that group up until you start playing as Abby, and then you learn that her dad was the doctor from the first game that Joel killed, and you really see her motivations. All that really worked for me really well. The only problems I had with it are just I think I'm just kind of sick of the zombie genre in general a little bit. I thought the characters were a little bit weaker than the first game, but other than that, I thought it was amazing. Sims, what were your overall thoughts?
For me, it's different. I had it spoiled, so I knew that Joel was going to die. So this is one cold Monday morning. All the leaks got revealed, so I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna ruin it because I'm gonna get ruined anyway. That was just my mental attitude towards it, because everything else I'm just unlucky. Avengers got a ruin for me, Star Wars got ruined for me. Things just get ruined for me unintentionally. So I thought, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna plunge into it. So I watched the cutscene where Joel dies. So from the moment she opens that door,
that cutscene was actually out there.
Yeah, the whole cutscene. As soon as she opens that door, she gets tackled to the floor. And then it all plays out. She hits him on a golf club, and then it ends. And then it says some notes underneath it. It says, "Abby kills Joel. Abby's dad is the doctor that you kill to save Ellie. You play as half the game as Abby." So obviously in the reviews when they're bantering around going, "Oh, this, that, and the other, this, that, and the other," and you're like, "Come on, I know what you're on about. I get that you're not allowed to talk about it, but I get, why it's such a vague review. All these reviews have been so vague." I knew, and then it also said that Ellie dies. It says Ellie dies, and then you can choose who dies. So as the game started to progress, as Ellie made these bad decisions, or even at a point where the first fight they had, and then Abby leaves her and says, "If I ever see you again, I'm just gonna straight up murder your ass." And then it was like, this is Ellie's happy ending, and I was like, this is the end. I was like, I'm happy with it. I'm more, she's dancing around with Dina. She got JJ, she got the lambs, and obviously then all of a sudden she got this PTSD, and it's like, fucking hell, it's the scariest thing I've ever seen in my life. So then obviously I was like. And then obviously when she went off to go and do, to go and get Abby, I was like, I text you guys because I wanted to finish the game there and then. I was like, guys, how long have I got left? And you were like, about 2 hours. I was like, what? How have I got 2 more hours left? And then I was at that moment, I was ready. I was ready for Ellie to die. Not really, because I went to work the next day. I was just like, I'm not ready to die. I'm just not ready. I'm not even in an emotional place right now. I'm not ready for Ellie to die. For then to finish the game and Ellie doesn't die, I felt happy.
You must have been shocked.
I was like, what the fuck? Bastards lied to me. So,
I wonder
all in
if
all,
that choice thing was a scrapped idea. If that was in the game at one point.
Natalie said that.
It sounds like it could have happened.
I don't
It
doesn't
so.
feel like it to me.
No, I don't think.
They wouldn't have given you a choice on the end of the first game.
I could totally see you keep mashing square and you drown Abby at the end, or you stop and then let her go.
But
so was the idea in that leak that Abby would have killed Ellie then?
Yeah.
With the choice, yeah. Okay, it must have been.
Well, the choice. It was unless
or maybe in the first fight.
I really don't know. It just says either Abby kills Ellie or Ellie kills Abby.
I could see the leak maybe being because there's a shot of Ellie lying there, beaten to death, basically.
Yeah.
So maybe they thought that they saw that shot or something, and they were like, "Oh, she's dead."
But even so, maybe the guy that leaked it you know, he's hacked in, he's skimmed through the game, he's watched the cutscenes, etc., etc. He's probably seen Ellie get pierced by the branch, seen her bleed out, and maybe just put two and two together. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe he just thought.
I don't know. Going back to your question, saying what do I think of the game? The game is ridiculous. Like how good it is, how deep it is psychologically. Like I'm still reeling now, and I finished it Monday night. I finished it Monday night, and I'm still reeling right now. Like I need you guys. You know, we wanted to maybe plan a bit more for the Spoilercast, but I push for this now because I need to talk about it, and there's no one to talk about it. I've got to get it out.
Yeah,
the game is phenomenal. Like the switcheroo, we'll get to that in a minute. It was I think everyone had the same thought process, same emotional outpour of it. Of gone, I really don't like Abby. I don't want to play as Abby. But as the 3 days on her part progressed, you like, oh, Abby's alright. I like Abby.
I totally didn't have that.
Natalie did. Natalie did not want to play as Abby. She was not.
Oh, I did.
She was
I
not.
think as soon as they showed me she's the daughter of the doctor that Joel killed in the first game, I was in. I was like, oh, okay, now I'm really hooked and interested. Daniel, what were your overall thoughts on the game?
Like I said last week, I really liked the game. They Metal Gear Solid 2'd us. And not as in harsh of a way, but they did. It's not just Ellie's story. It's more of a story of, revenge itself. I really liked it. I don't really know what else to say that you guys haven't said.
Sure. Okay. Then...
I guess the thing I will say is I looking back from the last time we talked about it, I probably like this game more than the first game.
Really?
Interesting. Yeah, I have some questions at the end of this that we'll go through, and we'll get into all that type of stuff more. But for now, we're going to get into the details. We're going to go beat by beat, right, with what happened through the game. I didn't write down all the major things, but most of the game I got covered here. So we'll just go through it, say our thoughts. Feel free to interrupt at any point, you two, and just say something. If I didn't write down something or something cool happened around this area that you want to mention, feel free. So the game opens with Joel talking to Tommy. He explains what happened at the hospital, and then we get into another scene with Joel and Ellie. This is when Joel gives her the guitar. You get that cool little guitar mini game. That was a great. Yeah, that was a great scene, right? I love the guitar mini game. How did you guys feel about that?
I loved it.
Yeah, I did it every time for 20 minutes.
I didn't want to say in the podcast last week, but the guitar I didn't mind as much. But there are just the stupid light gimmick. Stop it. I don't need to shake my controller every time. I hate it. Don't put that in my video game. I hate it so much.
It's just one of them.
Yeah, exactly.
Every time I felt like I was doing it too hard, I was like...
I going from the first one, and then obviously the same gimmicks in the same thing. So you forget. You obviously I didn't forget, but going back to the first one after so many years, you're like, fuck's sake, come on.
Come on, god damn it.
You don't need it. Admittedly, you don't need that.
The guitar I didn't mind as much. Did you guys? How did you guys do it? Did you guys swipe, or did you could you press it? I didn't try pressing it.
No, I swiped. I would point with the left finger, and then swipe up with my other thumb.
Okay.
I point. Obviously, I move with the left analog stick, and then swiped up and down. But I always fucked up.
Oh.
I'd only get one chord. I'm like, why can't I do it right? And Natalie was alright with it. I don't know. Maybe there's a knack to it.
Yeah, I saw a bunch of videos online of I think you're about to bring this up too.
Yeah.
People doing actual songs. I looked up the chords to a Wonderwall and I tried it for 2 minutes and I was like,
no way.
I can't do this.
Yeah, people did some really cool things with this guitar. It's really cool that they decided to do it though.
It's such a good mechanic.
Yeah, it was a cool idea.
There's so many.
Yeah, Neil Druckmann keeps tweeting them out. I think he really wanted that. And then after the guitar scene, we start 4 years later as Ellie. You meet Jesse and Dina. How you guys feel about Jesse and Dina overall?
I watched our podcast last week. I think we're a bit. Dina was a character. She's not. She's not. She's a good character. I don't. I think it's the AI that I had a problem with. She always seems to be there. Like you turn around, she's always in the way. Like the amount of times I nearly me and the missus nearly just popped her in the head because you turn around, she's there, and you're like, fuck it, no man, what are you doing, man? But shoot you. But as a character, she's great. I think she's.
You both did not like her last week.
I like the character. I just didn't like the AI of her being with us. Like I
don't know,
said,
you were both.
Yeah.
What was your words? You were
get
like,
out.
You should stay home or something?
Just go away.
So my
Yeah,
thing with
go
Dina
away.
was I feel like she's just there for like support. Like I feel like we didn't get enough, like learn enough about Dina herself. You know, like I feel like I could like her a lot. I just don't know. Like I just
don't
feel
think
like
you
she
need
was
to
just
learn
like the typical girlfriend of a video game. She's just there to like support Ellie's mission up until the point where she's not.
I mean,
And I feel like I just didn't get enough of her.
I mean, we found out enough of her. I mean, like in Seattle, the big city, and she, you go to the Jewish church.
Yeah, she talks about that time with her
Her-
sister,
her being Jewish and
stuff like
stuff.
that. Yeah,
I wasn't.
I feel like I just needed more.
Sure, I definitely agree. I think that you get a lot of her kind of in that first little bit, and then kind of when you get to Seattle. But I really like Dina, and I really like Jesse. I
love Jesse.
I was very sad when he died. You know, like
that was the hardest death for me.
Really?
I was like, oh.
Jesse
I
was-
knew he
Jesse
was
was
gonna
just
die. I
awesome.
knew that he was just gonna get popped. I knew that was gonna happen. Like, not I didn't know, but I knew that this is a character that is just gonna go.
Because through all of Ellie's faults that entire time, he understood. He was right there. He went back for her. He got Tommy. Went
Remember
right
that
back.
line he has? My friend's problems are my problems. Great line.
Yeah. Or he's like, sometimes my friends are always in their own way. And I really like Jesse. He's great.
He was.
Yeah, I thought he was a cool character.
It was give or take for me. I could have took him all even, but he was all right.
And then continuing on in Jackson, Ellie and Dina go on patrol. They end up smoking a fatty and getting busy.
Yep.
Yeah, a great scene. Jesse runs in and then tells them that Joel and Tommy are missing. Ellie goes after them. And then you switch the plane as Abby. Her and her group find Jackson, the whole city. You don't really know why at this point or what they're searching for, really. They're searching for
They do say searching for, like, him.
a
They keep
male,
saying, like,
right?
him.
Yeah, something like that.
So-
yeah.
So, for you guys, I knew exactly what they were on about. Who did you think they were looking for? Like, who did you two
I knew
think?
it was Joel. No way. There's no. Who else is going to
No,
be?
yeah, I think I
Definitely.
assumed, like, oh, these are fireflies looking for Joel. Like, I think that was just my natural.
Exactly.
Okay.
Like I didn't expect them to say, "Oh, we're looking for Tommy or some other character we haven't met." I just assumed it was Joel.
So then Abby goes off on her own to find Joel because Owen wants to turn back because Mel's pregnant. Then she runs into a horde. Then while Abby's outrunning the whole horde, she runs into Joel and Tommy. They
Can
all
we
skate
talk about
together.
that horde scene?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was
that
about
was
to say
insane.
that.
Like an
I
amazing.
love
Yeah,
that.
really good.
It was so cool.
They do it-
Like,
they do it
zombies,
twice.
like, pouring
Yeah.
over the walls and shit.
Yeah, they do it twice. I think the second one is even better, but running. I liked playing as Abby in this first section. She was definitely
I
she
did too,
played
yeah.
different. She was like she's sitting there punching people, punching
Felt
the
like
zombies.
heavier a little bit.
Yeah.
Felt a little more like Joel, right?
And you didn't
Definitely.
realize how jacked she was at that point.
Yeah, she's wearing that jacket. Yeah.
Huge arms.
And obviously you get small little glimpses of her as well as her personality. Obviously you get more of her later, but which she's walking and she says he got Mel pregnant, and you're like, oh, he's giving that flirty banter type thing, but she's like, for fuck's sake, why has he got Mel pregnant? And then obviously she has to tackle the edge of the mountain, and she's like, and I really like that aspect of her fears. Like she's not, solid as a rock. She
Get a good sense that her and Owen had like some history too. Okay, and then Abby leads them back to her group at a different house to hide out for a while. And then while there, the group knocks out Tommy, and then Abby brutally murders Joel with a golf club as Ellie is pinned down, forcing to watch.
I love the interaction. So you get Tommy talking because Tommy's the talker of the two. So Tommy's in there talking him up, like, "Oh, you want to resupply? You can come
back to
down.
Jackson."
We live right down the road, and he's like, Like, I'm Tommy, and this is my brother Joel, and Joel's just kind of in
Starts
the middle.
getting like really tense
I
here,
love
right?
that.
Like, you could almost like
just
feel
look
it.
at
Feel the
where
atmosphere
it's just
just
like
sucked out of
something
the
weird
room.
here all of a sudden.
Yeah, everyone looks at Joel, and he's like,
You get that moment where they're
like
like,
you-
yeah.
he says, have you? I feel like you guys have heard of us or something like that, and then
Yeah.
you get Abby's like, because they have, and boom, shotgun blast to his leg.
So
Right. Totally.
in this scene, what did you guys think was gonna happen?
I mean, I up until the point of his death, I didn't think he was just dead right there.
Did you think he was gonna
No, I
die?
didn't either. I thought, oh, Joe's gonna live without a leg. Honestly, like I didn't think he was gonna die at all. I thought like Ellie was gonna bust in and like scare them off, and the game's gonna be like you in this group, like you two are somehow gonna be enemies. Which, I mean, you kind of ended up doing that, but
So what was
that's initially what I thought.
what was your emotions? So obviously when she boom, game over.
As soon as the shotgun happened, my mouth dropped. I'm just like, oh shit, what's going on here?
What did
Yeah,
you?
it's a surprising shot.
What was your emotions when she killed him? Like how did you react? What was your reaction?
Anger.
Like I said, I was mad. I was literally like, fuck these people. Like I'm gonna go kill all
But
these.
did you-
Especially the one that tipped me wasn't honestly like Abby just like finally killing him. What
Manny.
really got me was Manny spitting on Joel, and I was like, no,
Pendejo.
yeah.
So
We'll talk about Manny, later, because I think he is a good character. Too.
I love Manny.
But,
Loved him.
but that when it's just spitting and like kind of giving disgrace to Joel, I was like, I don't like that. You guys, you're dead.
So
It made me as mad as you were supposed to. Like that's how I felt.
Yeah, of course.
Like I wanted to go on this revenge mission.
so
Anything else on Joel's death?
So obviously
But-
I was sat with my missus the whole time. I knew what was coming, and as soon as that golf club hit him, like I just looked at her and she just just crying her eyes out, like unconsolable as well. Like she just found out over the phone something dreadful has happened to a relative, like absolute mess. Like, and I was uncomfortable. I was like, I don't know what to do. She's like, did you know? I was like, yeah. I had tears in my eyes because she's crying. I was just like, it's yeah. It was one of those. It's just she was upset.
It's hard to watch, right?
Very hard, yeah.
As much as we love Joel, yeah, I mean,
Right.
not a great person all around, but we love Joel, and it's sad.
So then we start with Seattle, day one. Ellie and Dina head to Seattle for revenge and also to go after Tommy, who left before them. You go through the game's only open world section to find gas for a generator to open a gate. Okay, so let's stop here for a second. How did you guys feel about the open world section? Because this was very Lost Legacy, like, it was pretty much pulled right out of that. Daniel, I know I think you like this kind of stuff, right?
I do. It definitely felt unnecessary. It's like we only need to get the gas just to keep going. So it feel like a little bloat to me. Like this game's already pretty long.
I almost expected the whole game to maybe not like different sections of this for the whole game after Lost Legacy.
I expected a few more for sure.
I totally thought we were gonna get an Abby open world section in like her first day too.
This is the biggest section, though, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
Like,
this is
it's
the only section with like the map and shit.
It seems a bit odd, doesn't it? Because 1 minute in that one section you got this big open world, and then you go to all the different places, which is they're all good places. They're all, it's great environmental storytelling. But then there isn't any. There's more. There's not. There's no more of it really. I mean, the other sections are big, but they're not as big.
Right.
It just, I don't know, it seemed a bit out of place thinking back to it now. Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed it at the time. It took us a good 2 hours to search for the whole thing.
Yeah, I went through that a while. You got that great Take On Me scene? Did you guys all see that?
Yeah,
that was great.
It's a special scene, man. Let's talk about the game, the song Future Days. Like that is such a powerful song. Like,
which one is that? Is that the first one? Like,
yeah, like if I ever was to lose you, I'd surely lose myself. That one.
What's Pearl Jam, man?
So
Pearl Jam's great.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
mean, that's pretty much the song of the game, right?
Yeah. Yeah. The Take On Me scene, great. I didn't know that you can miss that scene.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because it's in the music store, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it seemed like such a well done scene that you figure like everyone would have to see that.
There's so many good moments, like especially with Justina just Dina just sits there and embraces it. Like, she doesn't say a word. So such a good performance by Ashley.
Yeah. Yeah, I like the open world thing. I like when Naughty Dog does that type of stuff. I think eventually Naughty Dog will probably make like an open world type game. They've just been doing like more and more of these, getting more and more open. Yeah, maybe
like a hybrid, you know?
Yeah, I could see that. So then we move on to at the Saravina Hotel. They're looking for Tommy still. Tommy's already been there. He's already killed one of the people that was in the group, named Nick. The group of people that killed Joel. Then after that, Ellie and Dina get ambushed by a group of wolves, and Ellie gets captured. She wakes up and sees one of the other members of the group named Jordan. Dina saves her.
That was startling when Shimmer dies.
Yeah.
There's
when
so
Ellie
many
fell over that thing.
There's so many jump
like,
scares in this game.
Like, oh shit!
And they do it so it's so seamlessly from gameplay to cinematic straight away. It's like as soon as the horse hops over that log or whatever it was, it's boom. You're like, fuck.
Yeah, poor Shimmer.
Poor Shimmer.
Shimmer. You see him so much in flashbacks too. You're like, oh,
I know.
He's gonna die. Then Dina comes in and saves Ellie. You see that really cool thing with her like walking on the window, and you're like, what the fuck is that? And then she shoots it. Yeah, it was like some superhero moment.
That was an intense
Dina moment
because you're sitting there trying to break out, right?
Yeah.
That whole scene,
yeah,
you're trying to break out. Jordan's like,
you grab the glass and you like cut your rope.
Yeah, God, that's so long ago for me.
They then find a note on Jordan, directing them to where Leah is at the TV station. So that's the next stop. You then get to the TV station, find Leah and other wolves have already been killed by a group of the wolves called the Scars. It was your first interaction with them. It's when you walk in the TV station, you see all those wolves hanging from the like rafters and shit.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh shit.
Yeah, that was very interesting sight-wise. Just see them all hanging. Yeah.
Felt the Scars the whole time with Ellie were just like this like background group that you just heard like, you know, little peeps of from like other NPCs and stuff. They were like really cool and like really mysterious during Ellie's part, I thought.
Yeah, especially in the beginning. You definitely get more of them with her as you go.
The notes were so interesting. All the notes and collectibles, they were so interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Like, so riveting. Like I wanted to find every one of them. Like every.
I really like the cards. I love the superhero cards.
Yeah, the cards are cool.
That's definitely a game.
On the cards are really cool. Did you guys see the Neil Druckmann?
No,
one?
I didn't see that.
I missed
it. It was like called like Dr. Uckman, and it was just like a picture of him. He was like an evil scientist. And then more wolves show up to the TV station, so Ellie and Dina have to outrun the wolves, and then they end up in the subway tunnels where Ellie's mask ends up breaking, and Dina sees Ellie breathing in spores.
Oh, I love this bit.
So
I love this. This was the first time you had the zombies. We'll call them zombies, and the wolves in the same environment.
Yeah.
So I was like, watch this. So I got my bottle, I just threw it, and all hell broke loose. I didn't have to worry about anything. Obviously, at this point, I want to kill everyone and then collect everything that's around.
I have a question for both of you. Were you guys nervous at all that her telling and showing Dina that she is some sort of immune and can breathe in the spores? Because this is what Joel has warned her multiple times.
Joel's afraid of fireflies, though, right?
Well, yes, but he's also afraid of anybody what they'll do to her if they know that she is immune. You know, so I know that
what
Dina
are they gonna do?
Person, you know, Dina might freak out. Like she doesn't know anyone that's immune. You know.
Mm-hmm.
It's a case of if people know, and then obviously Ellie's like, oh, we tried to sort it out, we tried to use this immunity, but they couldn't figure it out, and then someone might know that he's full of shit, and then she finds out that way. Like he doesn't want her to find out what happens. I think that's the reason. That is the number one reason she doesn't tell anybody.
I think it's protection too. I was just curious if you guys kind of were a little hesitant with her even saying anything to Dina. You know,
I mean, she told Dina when they were smoking weed, and she was like, "You're full of shit."
Oh yeah,
and then it was that. But then as soon as that mask, and like Dina was like, "You can share my mask," and Ellie's like, "No, we do it, silly cow, stop." Look. And she's like,
See, I just
yo.
don't see what it's like protecting when like I think everyone would just have that reaction, like, oh, I don't believe you.
Sure.
Yeah, of course. It take proof.
The two then have to outrun the clickers in the subway, and they end up in the theaters. The first time at that theater, where Ellie tells Dina she's immune, and that whole story was real. And then Dina tells Ellie that she thinks she's pregnant.
Yeah, you get that scene, that small little scene of her throwing up after you see like the dead
bodies.
People. Yeah,
I clicked straight away. I was like, she's pregnant straight away.
It was either that or she's like bit
or bitten. Yeah, it was one of the two, obviously. But obviously, with the backstory that she'd been with Jesse, obviously,
I assume that was my assumption.
My dumbass when she first said that was just like, how the fuck did Ellie get her pregnant?
Stupid bastard. Cut this podcast, Steve. Fucking stupid bastard.
Like, I don't
when a man
know
loves a woman, alright. Birds and the bees. Yeah, it's how can I know, it's a change of pace, isn't it? Like you get to the theater, and then the game suddenly takes change. Like it becomes a base of operations, and then you do day 1 or day 2, you come back. You do day 3, you come back. I don't know. I think I prefer number 1's. You know, you gradually going through. You know the game. You don't keep coming backwards and forwards. But I suppose.
Well, it's a different.
Yeah, it kind of turned into like a hub section a little bit.
Yeah, it's a different setup though.
Yeah, of course.
You're hunting these people down. You're not going cross country.
This is also where I thought Dina, like, there's a point where Ellie was like, you become a burden now. Like, you know, she said that like a moment of anger, and I was just like, no, I really do feel like she's a burden.
Yeah,
right
of course,
now.
yeah.
Like, I feel like I want to take Dina home. Like, okay,
She
you should go back to
definitely
Jackson then. Like,
She was angry about it too. You know, like she.
yeah, no, she said that out of anger, but like, I really felt that. Like, oh no, we need to get her.
I think the main reason that she was angry is because this affects, like, Ellie obviously loves her at this point. Like, even though I think you can fall in love very easily during this time, during, you know, the zombie apocalypse. And obviously she's like, now what? Do I lose her now? Do I have to do the right thing and split up with her? Try and make things work with Jesse? It's a messy situation, and obviously she wants to do the right thing. Also, she wants to go fuck up Abby. So that's the way I took it. I thought she obviously wants to do the right thing, and now she's upset because she's going to lose Dina.
She mostly wants to go fuck up Abby.
Definitely.
Then we get our first flashback scene. It's Ellie's birthday, and Joel takes her to a museum. So you get awesome moments with Ellie jumping off the T-Rex and Joel giving her a mixtape at the. Well, here, let's slow down a little bit.
So I said last week, there's a moment in this game that earns the 10 out of 10 on its own, and this is that one moment. Yeah. This is the best part of the whole game.
This Definitely. Is one of the best parts of the game for sure.
I'd never smiled so much in my life. Like, I want to, like,
especially when you realize what this section is, because like you're going to it, and then you get to the museum, and you're like, oh, okay, we're just at the museum, you know?
Because last week I said this game gives very little fan service, right? And it does. But it does, when it does do fan service, it does it in like the right way. This was totally it. Like where I thought like, oh,
in the pod.
This is like a fan service moment for fans of the first game. We're doing a whole throwback here, and this was such a great moment.
Yeah, coming off the first game a week prior, listen to Abby just talk about space in general, and having that moment where Ellie, having Ellie be, for that one moment in her life, can be a child.
Yeah, which
is magical. And obviously, the conversations that Joel and Ellie have about Jurassic Park, the comments of number 2 wasn't that great. Like, my missus, at this point, I was playing the game, and the missus like, I want to do this because there's dinosaurs. She's a big fan of dinosaurs. It was just such a magical moment. Like,
I love their little argument about the Velociraptor.
Yeah.
It goes throughout the whole museum. It's great. Yeah.
I like putting the hat on them. You put the hat on the dinosaurs, then you put the hat on Joel.
I didn't know you could put the hat on Joel, so.
Oh, yeah, you get a trophy for that.
I'm going to do that next.
I didn't do it, actually.
There's a funny, I believe an Indiana Jones reference made during that.
And the moment where you can look in the mirror and you can pull all the funny faces.
Yes, that was really funny.
I haven't seen that.
You didn't do
you
that?
can look in the mirror
No.
in the bathroom, and you can pull funny faces.
Interesting. I did not see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. So then, yeah, we're at the museum, and then we get to the space section where they hop in the little spaceship thing. I don't know what that was. I think it was a spaceship.
It's space
Some type
shuttle.
a small spaceship. And then Ellie gives her the mixtape of the rocket launch, like the countdown thing, and that. There's like great moment. She closed her eyes, and it was kind of like a throwback to the Left Behind DLC where Ellie was playing the arcade thing. She had like those imaginary buttons pop up and stuff.
Yeah.
Kind of did a little of that.
I didn't know that.
Really nice moment.
I never played Left Behind.
You never played Left Behind?
I was gonna play it last week, the week before. I just ran out of time. I ended up.
You should go back and play.
I will. I think I will.
It's very short.
Yeah, Left Behind's fantastic. Then at the end, Ellie sees a firefly symbol painted on the wall in the museum, and the word liar under it.
I didn't.
She goes into deep thought there. Then we cut away.
I didn't understand this. Can somebody explain this to me?
So I think it brought up that like there's still unanswered questions for her about the fireflies, like what happened that day, what happened at the hospital, because Ellie still doesn't really know like what was going on. I think there's just still questions in her mind. She wants to know like what she could have done, what this immunity means. Like she said, she had so many questions for the fireflies that she didn't get answered, and Joel's just being very quiet about it seems.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, and then now we're on Seattle, day 2. Dina begins listening to the wolves' communication over the little convenient radio that was in there. That thing was very convenient. She learns there's a solo male trespasser in a nearby city, and they think it could be Tommy. Ellie can see Dina isn't feeling well, so she tells her to stay at the theater, just by herself. She doesn't have to go fight anymore. She's all sick and shit. And then after fighting a shit ton of wolves, Ellie gets grabbed from behind by Jesse. She's surprised to see him. After seeing Jesse was hurt, they both head back to the theater.
Now,
This is when Jesse comes back in. We're seeing Ellie go more towards, I want to say like the dark side, kind of, because it kind of is that. But like she's getting
Just blinded by rage.
yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
exactly. She's blinded by this revenge mission, right?
She's
Yeah. I'm sorry, Sims. Go ahead.
Yeah, she's It's just one track minded. Like all she cares about is this. She has to kill Abby, or she lets Joel down, Tommy down. It goes back to the final scene, doesn't it? Like these people have robbed her from building that bridge. Obviously I'm going to right to the end, where I would like to forgive. I would like to try to forgive you. And then going back and playing it again yesterday. It was obviously the day after the kiss from Dina and Ellie, and Dina goes, "What are you doing tonight?" And Ellie goes, "Oh, I might invite Joel for a movie." And obviously,
just starting.
She was about to start. That because I don't know how long it would have been. A couple of months from the scene that we'll talk about soon to this moment. So that has been robbed from her. So I think that's what she's really angry about. She wants that father figure. So I was listening to Spoilercast with Greg Miller, and I think one with Neil Druckmann, and he was saying, so there's a scene, obviously the scene where Jesse turns out Punt the Blue and he grabs her and he goes, "Do you think I'd let you do this on your own?" So Greg Miller got to preview this game months and months and months ago. Seems like forever ago, and he was saying like in the game, it was Joel who grabbed her.
Oh, is that actually Joel?
Yeah.
I wonder if it was Joel in that trailer too.
It was
Joel in the trailer, but obviously in the preview of the game, obviously they don't want to let him know that he's dead. It was Joel who grabbed him, so they'd gone some major lengths to.
That's smart.
To not let you do this. That's insane.
Like Infinity War, remember?
Pardon?
Hulk in Infinity War. Remember
when he was like running in Wakanda. He was like nowhere near there.
Yeah, he was in the trailers and stuff, and they did not use that.
Yeah, it is kind of like that. And then we get our second flashback. We see Tommy taking Ellie out on patrol, and Jackson teaches her how to shoot a sniper and stuff. and then they meet up with Joel, and Joel and Ellie head out to find guitar string. They try and cut through a hotel. There's a bloater fight there that we get. That's the first time we see a bloater, I think. And then they come across 2 dead bodies from people from Jackson. It makes Ellie think of what more she could have done with fireflies. We get some line there. I forget what the line was. But Ellie says something here where this is where you can really tell, oh, she's still really thinking about the fireflies.
Is this where he's like, where he basically says that
he basically shuts her down.
Where he's like, this is like, I wish that this was a better world, but it ain't. Like, that's like, I think the same scene.
Yeah,
yeah.
I think that was such a good scene for Joel. Like, he wishes that things were normal and that he could just have a normal life with her, but it's just not that way.
Right. You can still really tell that Ellie's still really hung up on the events from the first game, right?
Yeah.
So then, she brings up the fireflies. Joel shoots her down, tells her to drop it, and then the scene cuts back. Then back at the theater, Jesse is passed out while Ellie overhears on the radio that Nora posted at the hospital. One of the other members of the group. So she goes by herself to find Nora. On the way there, Ellie has her first encounter with the scars. It's like that really scary scene in like that park in the middle of the city.
Yes, the park. That's when you first get them whistling and stuff.
It was so scary.
Yeah,
it was super eerie.
I love them. I do. I love the scars. They were really good.
Yeah, they were great. This is where you first get the arrow comes in. It's like, and it scares the shit out of you. Then you pull it out.
That's when you first have to pull it out. Yeah.
Yeah. That was a cool mechanic too, I thought.
I only had 2 moments of that though. I had one as Abby and one as Ellie.
Yeah, it happened to me a couple of times. I think it could just happen if like one of the scars had a.
I thought it was like 3 times. I could be wrong.
I don't know. I think that could have happened anyway.
The introduction of the scars and them not being, they weren't explained to Ellie at all. Like, obviously, it was she'd read notes about the scars and the wolves were fighting.
Yeah, she has nothing to do with them.
You still don't know even at the end. Like she still doesn't know.
She's just after the wolves. She doesn't care about the scars at all.
Yeah, I like that they kept it like you up until that point. You know as much about the scars as Ellie does. Or like they're just like another group that happens to be there. Then Ellie arrives at the hospital, kills a bunch of wolves, and the NPCs got really upset when you killed a dog named Bear. Did you guys get this? Because I got this on both my playthroughs.
What happened?
So you kill one of the dogs that you end up meeting as Abby, the dog named Bear. It was like the other one. You could like throw a ball with him and like, catch with him at the beginning of Abby's part.
So what happened when you killed Bear? Because I was probably too busy fucking everybody up.
The NPCs were like, Bear! Like 3 of them were all just like, Bear! And I was like, oh god.
Stuck out for me. I might have done.
Oh really? It was funny because my first playthrough, I literally thought like a bear was about to attack me. Like I was like, "What the fuck's a bear?" As I'm like stabbing this dog in the neck. But I thought that was a really cool touch, especially when you done meet Bear. There's another one called Alice that we'll talk about later. That would really.
I think
my second playthrough.
I can't.
I don't want to kill Alice.
I can't remember killing Bear. But I think I know how I killed him. I think it's.
Blow him up.
So remember, there's one scene where you open the door after killing the Seraphites, and there's this big motherfucker just comes through this door.
Yeah.
Anyway, like he fucked me up, and I remember running away. I dropped a smoke bomb and then ran around this corner, and he come around this corner, and I just fucking put his axe straight in his chest. Oh, it's so satisfying. But I picked his hammer type pickaxe type thing up. Took that with me. Must have gone into the next scene with Bear, and Bear attacked me, and then I retaliated, and I put that spike right through Bear.
Right through Bear.
And at that point,
the other NPCs?
I don't remember the reactions to the NPCs, but I remember my reaction of putting that thing through that dog, and I put the controller down. I was like,
sorry.
Fucking hell.
And then you play fetch with them later. And it's like, oh.
I didn't realize I didn't understand it. I remember watching a video on IGN.
Yeah, I didn't realize it until my second playthrough.
IGN was like, oh, remember Bear? You play as Bear. You actually kill Bear in the game. Like, oh shit, there.
Ellie then finds Nora. There's a chase scene straight out Friday the 13th in that hospital.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, that was great.
She's a
We're like,
bitch,
you're the
wasn't
killer.
she? Nora's a bitch. Out of all of them, Nora.
When she runs, she like jumps over the elevator shaft and shit. I'm like, come on, Nora.
Fuck
Yeah.
off.
Like, I'm gonna get you. There's even a point where Ellie's like, you can't escape this, Nora. And I'm like, no, she fucking can't.
I will not stop.
Yeah, like, quit running.
There's another scene. There's another bit in the game where she locks you in, and you, the zombies, and the WLF, and it's just I said to my missus were playing. I said, look, just throw the bottle. They'll all fight each other, and then just run for that door. And that's exactly what she did. Like, you can get out of that moment straight away.
The red area where it's all red.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did the same thing. I threw it, let them all fight, and I just ran to the end.
Yeah, we let the.
That
There's
bitch
a lot
ain't
of
getting
moments
away.
like that where you can let like clickers kill the other.
Yeah, it's
NPCs
great.
Or the other way around. Even with Scar, there's a point at the end with the Scars and the Wolves.
Yeah.
Where you can make them fight each other too. Yeah. Then Ellie interrogates Nora, which is where we first learned that Abby and her group once Fireflies. So it's kind of just like confirming that they were Fireflies at one point for me. How did you guys feel about that? Did you guys know they were Fireflies, or is that what you just assumed too?
I just assumed.
I
Yeah.
didn't.
Well, obviously it was spoiled for you soon.
I didn't know. It didn't clear. I should have thought.
Oh,
really,
really?
I should have thought about it more. Really, Abby's dad being thingy. This is the scene where you. This is where you know that Ellie is switched. Like, Nora's just sat
this
there.
is where she really breaks bad here. It's like that scene with the red, and she tortures Nora.
Nora's just there. She's dying. Obviously, Ellie needs to get something out of her, and you just have no choice to press.
It took a lot from Ellie as well. Like, with her hand shaking to even open the door, and like it wasn't that she just did this just without any feeling, right? Like it took a lot out of her to do that. She isn't Joel and Tommy that can go and torture people, you know.
Right. Yeah, so like we said, Ellie then brutally beats Abby with a pipe, gets to the location of I forget. Oh, she gets the aquarium location from Nora.
Yeah, she was trying to get where Abby
is.
Yeah.
Right. And then kills her before returning to the theater. Then there's a short flashback where Ellie has returned to St. Mary's Hospital in Colorado. This is the ending of the first game. And she finds an audio tape from a Firefly explaining how she wanted to go after Joel, the person on the audio tape, for what he did later. Wait, hang on here. So yeah, there's an audio tape there where Ellie learns that pretty much that Joel killed everyone at the hospital and then took Ellie. Then you find Joel finds Ellie listening to this tape outside of the hospital. She tells him she will go back to Jackson if Joel tells her the truth about what happened. Joel explains how they would have had to kill Ellie to create a vaccine, and then he stopped them. Ellie then gets upset, agrees to go back, but says her and Joel are through. Heartbreaking.
Heartbreaking.
Yeah, it was rough.
Yeah.
But I'm glad, at least we got it though, right? I was worried that we weren't going to get anything like that.
Yeah, we needed this scene in this game somewhere,
Definitely.
right?
Definitely.
I heard this was spoiled in trailers
Mm,
before the game came out. No?
I didn't have it spoiled.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I thought they like put this moment in one of the story trailers, and I was
They could have. I didn't notice
put
it
that
at
in
all.
there. Oh, okay. So yeah, then her and Joel are through, and then you really see like what their relationship was, throughout Jackson. It seems like they were very disconnected for like probably around like 2 years or so up until the beginning of this game.
just
something like that.
talking business. That was it.
Yeah. So then Seattle day 3 now. Dina is now very sick, so Jesse tells Ellie that they have to get her back to Jackson. Ellie agrees, but says they can't leave without Tommy. So Jesse and Ellie set out for the aquarium where Abby is, because that's where they just assume Tommy will be. They soon overhear two wolves talk about a sniper picking them apart close by. Jesse says that has to be Tommy, but Ellie still wants to go to the aquarium because all she really wanted to do was kill Abby. Right? You get this sort of sense that like Ellie using the "we gotta go get Tommy" excuse to go kill it because she just wants to go kill Abby, right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Just that revenge. That revenge taking over. Not bothered about.
She doesn't
her
really
friendship.
care about like
Doesn't
saving
care about
Tommy
anybody.
that he's even there, right?
Well, I think she used the excuse like basically like Tommy would just go after her or something like that.
Yeah. So Jesse and Ellie go their separate ways. Ellie then steals a boat to head to the aquarium. That's where you get that cool little boat. I think there's a part of the boat with Abby too, right? Where you can ride around the speedboat. Yeah.
No.
It's cool, like raft thing.
I don't remember that with Abby. I think it's only Ellie.
Yeah, maybe.
You do get on a boat, but I don't think you control the boat.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought the boat was cool. It was a nice little change of pace there. There was one really cool area where you could like drive under this building and then like climb up through it and kill all the I think it was wolves you were fighting at the time. Might have been scars.
Yeah, it was wolves.
I think
yeah.
No, it was Seraphites. There's a bunch of Seraphites
yes.
out there.
Yes. Because the Seraphites fighting the wolves, and you can just stay at the back, chill out, and then all the Seraphites kill the wolves, and then I think you can just go straight past them.
I went right past them because they gunned down a bunch of people.
Could you go past them? Really?
Yeah, they gunned down a bunch of people in the boats, and you could just drive right through them. Like they won't like really stop you.
There's a train to the side that's like a broken down train. And you can like climb up through it. And
yeah, I did that.
And everything. Yeah. There's if you have the scope on your rifle at that point, you can kind of like snipe them off. I did that on my second.
Oh, I see. I didn't get the scope. I did not upgrade for that scope.
That's the first thing you did.
The scope's actually really nice on the rifle.
Well, they didn't give you that much of the bolts, so I didn't really get to upgrade everything, you know.
Oh, okay. Yeah, on my second playthrough now, I turned it up so you get more supplies. There's a lot of really cool like options like that you can do. So I turned it up so you get more ammo and different supplies and stuff. So I just got like a shit ton of ammo on my second playthrough. And then, sorry.
This is the part where we get to the.
We get thrown off.
So yeah, Ellie's going to the aquarium. Then Ellie's boat breaks down right before she gets to the aquarium. There's this really cool scene where she's swimming towards the aquarium with like the waves hitting her back and stuff. It's really cinematic. The lighting in this game is phenomenal. The scene where we were just talking about the Seraphites fighting the WLF in that half broken down building. Like I remember just the lights of the fire, the pictures they've got, the dark, the lighting. Like just looking at it is phenomenal. Like. And that obviously being dark and the stars and the fog, everything. Like. It's ridiculous. Yeah, I don't know about you guys. I thought the game looked worse in the rain. And then, but when you had like direct sunlight like that, I thought it looked great. But like when it was raining, I was like,
The only problem I had with all of it, which we spoke about, is the film grain. The film grain is obviously it's. You say it.
I didn't notice any of it.
Like, look at the film. I don't know how far you sit back from your TV, but that film grain is distracting.
So you said you only noticed this when you like switch TVs, right?
No, I noticed it. I noticed it on the first, like when you press start and it's the boat. I noticed it there, and I was like, "This game's very grainy." And I was like, "Oh, fair enough." It's
really close.
When we moved, because we moved the living room around, we sit closer than we have been.
Interesting, because I sit. I don't know, maybe.
But then we switched
15 feet away or so.
We've switched like from 14. We switched from our 49-inch TV to a 55-inch TV, and you could really see the grain.
So once there, Ellie finds Owen and Mel. He tells them to show her where Abby is by pointing out a map. Owen then tries to tackle Ellie, but Ellie shoots him before he even gets close. Dude just got dusted. I don't know what that attempt was by Owen.
I don't know.
Why would you rush her?
He's like a trained, Firefly
soldier.
member.
Yeah,
I don't understand.
Why was that your plan? I get he thought he was fucked like the whole time, so he had to do something. But like I don't know, you should have waited for a different moment.
Just put it right in his like torso.
Yeah,
what an idiot.
He was like so far back too. He just lunges at her. That?
Well, this is the glimpse where we get where Ellie just tries to be Tommy and Joel, like
and she's doing the exact thing.
And she's just not. Like, as soon as you see it, it's like, this isn't going to go right. And obviously, these two murders, they're just normal murders. To us, right now, for me, it's just like, oh yeah, they're dead. Fuck them. And obviously it's revealed that Mel was pregnant. I think you kind of forget that until the moment.
Yeah, so in Owen's dying words, he says pregnant. Then Ellie, this is after Ellie stabbed Mel in the neck. I think Mel was like trying to kill her with a knife, and then Ellie turned around, stabbed her in the neck. And then Ellie overhears Owen's dying words that he just says pregnant. And then Ellie unbuttons Mel's coat to see that she is pregnant, and then she backs away, very horrified. And then Tommy and Jesse walk in and try to get her to leave. This is when I think she realizes that, like, oh, okay, I'm becoming a different
Gone
person.
too
here.
far.
The key was she dropped the map.
Yeah,
What do you mean by that?
she dropped the map.
If she didn't drop the map,
Abby would have never found her.
Yeah.
Abby wouldn't have
is
even
that how
known.
Abby found her at the theater?
Did you
She
not?
picked up-
Did you not see that cutscene?
Did Abby go and pick? Oh, Abby picked up the map, didn't she?
And it's all marked out.
I never put that together. That was one
All
thing I was
marked
wondering
out.
too. Is like, how did Abby know she was at the theater?
Yeah, she found the two dead, and she picked up Ellie's map. If she wouldn't have dropped the map, she would have been.
That's really
everything
smart.
would have been
I
fine.
forgot she picked up that map. Yeah.
I love the way. So at this point in the game, you've killed this unsuspecting dog that you've killed 1,000 times. You jump out this. I think you jump out of a underneath or on top of something. You jump down. The dog attacks you.
So she's crawling through like a vent system, and then it breaks.
And then the dog just comes up. You stab the dog. At this point, you're numb to it anyway. You're just like, fuck it, dog, not bothered.
Fuck this
You go
dog.
and kill Mel and Owen, and you think, these two are pricks. I've got no care for them in the world. And you're like, whatever. She's pregnant. I feel a bit bad. Gotta do what we gotta do. My boy Joe died. Ellie's on a mission.
You gotta kill him,
And then the game. Then Abby. So you go back to the aquarium. You wake up as Ellie. She's at a rest. She's a bit upset. She can hear something. Doesn't she? She gets out of bed. She opens the curtains. You talk to Jesse.
It's Jesse and Tommy like talking how they get back, basically.
Yeah. So I got it right here. It's Jesse and Tommy are preparing for a route back. Tommy then goes back to grab he's grabbing a necklace out of his bag that they wanted to see. It's a necklace for I believe her name's Maria, right? Tommy's wife.
Maria. Yeah, he's like,
Yeah,
this is real gold.
He's
Gold. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a funny joke there where he wants to use it as a bribe to get back on Maria's good side.
Yeah.
And then Ellie and Jesse have like an emotional conversation. I think it's where you get the line, "My friend's problems are my problems." I think Jesse might say that multiple times. It's kind of like a last little goodbye for Jesse. They hear a loud commotion in the other room that Tommy's in. Jesse and Ellie then sprint into that room, and then bam! Right as they walk
Jesse
through the fucking door, Jesse
Dead.
done, out, head shot, and then
So sad.
He's not.
very sad.
He's not sad. Fucking prick.
Oh, I was sad. I was like, oh, I liked him, So then, yeah, Ellie looks up, sees Abby standing there with a gun. They do a very good job of not showing Lev in this scene. Yeah, because it's like, oh, he was standing there too.
Yeah, I mean, he's not very big, and he was kind of behind the counter a little bit.
Yeah,
So you couldn't really see him.
because I wondered too at the end. Abby like points her gun at Ellie instead of Tommy, and I was like, oh, Tommy's gonna fuck her up right
Yeah.
there. And he's gonna like fucking leg lock her. Abby be done.
Dina can come from somewhere.
Yeah, that's.
Or yeah, or Dina. Yeah.
Because I think we left it at this point, and me and the missus was like, Dina's just gonna come out. We all know what's gonna happen. Dina's gonna come out of nowhere and take her out.
So then, yeah, Abby's got the gun on Tommy, so Ellie's forced to for a gun. Then Abby says, "You killed all my friends, and we let you live."
That's my favorite
And then
line of
turns
the
her
whole
gun to
game.
Ellie, then
you
scene cuts.
wasted it.
And you wasted
Yeah,
it.
you wasted it.
That's my favorite line of the whole game.
I love it. We let you live, and you wasted it. I love it.
So then we get a flashback.
Hey, look at that! I got a different haircut and new shirt. So the Sims. Let's just not talk about it. Don't worry about it.
Look at my different shirt.
Yeah, look at Daniel. Just worry about how Daniel looks. Before we move on to Abby, we did forget to mention that there was that cool car chase. When was it? Right after you meet Jesse, right?
Yes, when you and Jesse are together. Yeah.
Seattle
You
Day
get
2.
jumped.
What was
Yes, yeah, I did too.
Seattle Day 2.
that? Yeah, okay. Yeah, so we did forget to mention that car chase. It was a really cool car chase, though.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
It was. I was so worried for.
Like 0 to 100.
It was, and I was so worried for Jesse at that moment. Like I thought he was going to die there. But
Yeah, it was a thing.
You did have
Much later.
unlimited ammo though.
I didn't mind.
You didn't
Just
like all the
saying.
car chases.
Yeah, you do. I didn't mind. It didn't really pull me out of anything.
It was
No, the car scenes were really cool.
intense.
Yeah.
Very intense. It was one of the best like action scenes of the like. Before that, I forgot what you are. You're Hillcrest after Hillcrest, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I think you're going to Hillcrest to look for Tommy, right?
Yeah, and then you run into him, and then all of a sudden he's like, "Oh, I've just seen some people," and then he's like, "Be quiet," and I was like, "Nah." Jump in the car, and then everything just kicks off. It's incredible. There isn't a bad bit in the game, I don't think.
There's some
No, not
slower
really.
parts,
There's no
but
real
not
no
really.
Yeah. All right, cool. We will then move on to Abby because we got to the end of Ellie last time. But yeah, so starting with Abby, it's 4 years earlier now. We start with a flashback. We start with Abby, who's looking for her father, and you find him, and then together you end up looking for a zebra, right? Or you don't know it's a zebra at that point. Then you find a zebra who had just given birth, and there was like this weird puddle of like
Afterbirth.
goo.
It's afterbirth.
I thought
What the fuck was that?
Yeah, afterbirth. I thought it was kind of a dog at the beginning because he didn't really. He was calling it by it made it seem like it was his friend or something. I didn't know it was a zebra at all until we see it.
What the
Yes,
fuck is after?
it's
You don't know what an afterbirth is?
No,
It's like
Sibs, I don't
placenta
understand
and
anything
blood.
about this. I'm not even exactly sure how babies are made, to be honest.
you can
but-
eat it.
You can eat afterbirth.
eat it.
Yeah.
I would not eat that.
Science, science.
Anyways, they find the zebra that had just given birth, and it's now trapped in that fence wire thingy, right? And then Owen
Barbed
comes
wire.
in. Yeah, sure. Fence wire thing. And then Owen comes in to get you all free. It's a real beautiful moment. One of those look at the scenery moment, like the giraffe moment in part 1. A little more hardcore than that though. And then Owen tells Abby and her dad that the young girl that Marlene's been talking about that has been bit has arrived at the hospital with an older man. Obviously, we know that's Ellie and Joel, right? So now at this point we know that this is right before the ending of part 1.
Yeah,
The scene is pretty good for the dad. Kind of shows that
he's
he's a nice guy.
a decent
He's a good
bloke.
guy.
Yeah, and then obviously your head starts connecting that like, oh shit, this is like people that worked at the hospital. These are fireflies, right?
Yeah.
Then it all starts like coming together. Then you obviously learn. I think Owen's the one that first calls him doctor, right? So then
I think
you just
so.
kind of start thinking, yeah, I think so. I think he runs up and says like doctor or whatever. Hey doc.
Well,
Yeah,
I think it's previously discussed by Abby and the doctor, her dad, that he's noticed that Owen's like started to suck up to him, and then he's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
I know you're dating," and I kind of like this whole like Owen trying to like suck up to me kind of thing. It's quite very, it's an interesting conversation. Like he's not stupid, and he sees what and then obviously Abby starts to get a bit embarrassed, and it's just a proper like preteen dad short up, man. Do you know what I mean? It's very wholesome.
He sees you two looking at each other and stuff. Yeah.
One of those embarrass your daughter type things.
Exactly.
Right. So we now see Marlene and Abby's dad discussing how Ellie needs to die to create the vaccine. I think the dad feels pretty bad about it, but he's still pushing for it, right? And Marlene's obviously very upset about it. But then
This is where we see that the Fireflies they're not bad people. They don't want to do this.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not great people, though. They've done a lot of bad things, too.
But I think these
They
certain
have, but, like-
Fireflies are alright.
Maybe. And like, I was actually surprised to even see Marlene. I didn't expect to see her at all.
It's good
Yeah,
to
It was nice.
about this year.
It was nice because Marlene was a pretty much of a mother figure for Ellie for a long time. So seeing her struggle with something similar to what Joel did, or would eventually struggle with letting her die, even though Marlene was kind of sadly okay with it for the great.
Yeah, it was nice to see that she was like actually upset that she had to kill Ellie,
But
right?
the
You didn't get that too much in the first game.
The thing is,
Yeah.
though, like in the first game where Joel wakes up and he's like, "Where's Ellie?" And then like she's like, "Yeah, she's going to surgery. Don't worry about it. She's gonna die."
Right.
And then he's like, "Yeah, but I need to see her." And she's like, "Yeah, no one's lost more people than I do." no one's been through much as I do. She just dealt with the situation all wrong. This is all Marlene's fault. Now listen to me. I'm gonna take you on a story. We're going on a boat. Get on this boat. So he wakes up. He's a bit groggy. What's going on? Sorry about that. They didn't know who you were. Oh, okay. Look, we need to talk about this. Ellie's unfortunately gonna have to die for the sake of mankind. I'm devastated. She means everything to me. But think about it, Joel. We could save the world. And he's like, you know what? You're right. But no, she's all fucking. Nah, she's gonna die. You stay here. Don't worry about it. She's just a bitch. So this.
Do you think that would have been enough?
Yeah, listen. Like you talk to Joel.
I don't know if that would have been enough.
Offer Joel, a nice little 6 string. So listen, I'll get you a guitar. She just dealt with the situation all wrong. Like it's all Marlene's fault. Last of Us 2, her fault. Right? And then she gets shot at the end of number 1. Spoilers for number 1. Right? It's her fault. Like she could have dealt with this whole situation differently. So listen, Joel, Ellie's, just a normal conversation. No, don't be aggressive. Imagine waking up, right, and this woman's like wakes up and you're like, what's happening? She's like, you're a fucking prick. Stay there. You're gonna get agitated. It's like a kid. You tell a kid not to do something, they're gonna go and do it.
I see what you're saying. Like maybe she could have just had like a nicer conversation.
Oh yeah, of course.
Instead of just like, hey, we're gonna kill Ellie.
So
she did. From what I remember at the end of the first one, she did seem like just a little like less like caring about Ellie's life.
Oh, no one's lost as much as I have. I've crossed the country and lost all my people. It's like, well, Joel's lost people too. No one cares about Joel in this situation.
Right.
Anyway,
I don't give a fuck about this man.
I'm just saying. The next hour of this game, the next part of this game is all Marley's fault.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Yeah.
Okay, so then we cut to.
We can move on.
Go ahead, then. You want to move on? Okay. Move on. Then we cut to Abby. So this is the first time we're walking down the hallway to the surgery room. The alarm's going off. It's like right after Joel left the end of the first game. Abby walks down the room. She walks in the surgery room, sees her dad on the ground, dead. Owen's over the body. Abby starts crying. Owen starts hugging her. Yeah, just a good scene.
Yeah, you definitely see the.
It's where her like anger really starts, right?
You needed the scene to
hit. Her revenge quest started right there.
This scene needs to hit. If it doesn't hit, then
the second
what's going to happen this next half of the game? Yeah, it's not going to be worth it.
It's parallel to the scene with Ellie walking down into the basement where Joel dies, right? That's why they always cut back to this hospital scene with Abby walking down the hallway, and then later they cut back to Ellie walking down to the basement. This is where like their revenge quest really starts.
Yeah.
I will say this scene they did the job, especially for Natalie, because obviously for me it was I knew this stuff, so it was like Natalie felt oh shit I see this now. Do you know what I mean? Like she kind of got the reason. Like she still wasn't over Joel's death. Pardon?
I say, Connor, did it work for you?
Yeah, this was probably the main thing in the game that like really worked for me, where it was like, because I was so mad at that group after they killed Joel, right?
Yeah, of course.
As soon as this scene was over, and it's like, oh, I get it now. Joel was their bad guy, right? Like Joel was the main villain to them. So it's like you totally understand their perspective on it.
Yeah, it definitely worked for me too. It's very different than how Ellie's revenge story starts too. Like it's not like her dad was shot in front of or stabbed in front of Abby, but Joel was killed right in front of her.
Right.
It's a little different, but
a bit worse.
Yeah, just a little bit.
We then cut to the scene with Abby putting the final blow on Joel, and then we get kind of the different perspective of like hearing that group talk of they were arguing whether they should kill Ellie and Tommy or not, and then I think Abby's the one that finally like puts down the golf club and says we're done, we're not killing them.
Right. The game had hid that from you. From Ellie's perspective, it was all she just completely zoned out.
Well, she got kicked in the face.
Before that, though, I think she had the golf club, and then I think after that, I think you go into shock, don't you? I think she was in a state of shock.
Probably.
So all that noise
that's
was
why we didn't
white
hear
noise.
their conversation while you were Ellie. Yeah.
So obviously you were intrigued, like what are they saying? And then obviously to hear The fact that they're not bad people, they just had she had to do that. Abby had to do what she did for closure.
Man.
At that point, for closure.
That's what she thinks. That's definitely what she thinks. We'll talk about it, as we go on. But Abby kind of realizes, I think, that maybe it didn't really help as much as she thought.
No, of course not. I think you get that in the next 30 seconds of the game. Like, as soon as she wakes up, she doesn't feel any better.
Yeah.
And then the more important thing of her life goes to Owen's still not with her. She has nothing, which we'll get to that in a minute. So, and then obviously you get introduced to Mel, and then you get that Mel's, Mel and Abby are not happy with each other.
Right. You start to see that conflict that they have throughout the game. Yeah. So then we cut to Seattle day one yet again. This time from Abby's perspective. Abby is awakened by Manny. How'd you guys like Manny? I love Manny.
Love Manny. Absolute legend.
Manny's the best. Oh man.
I like him. Yeah, they we talked about in the beginning that I hated Manny in the room scene.
Pendejo.
Yeah, I did not disrespect. You don't disrespect Joel.
This game does such a good job of making you look on the other side of the coin.
Right.
And there's two sides to every story. And this is what this game really... that's one of its lessons. One of its morals of this story. There's several morals, but this is one of them.
So I think here is where a lot of people started getting disappointed with the game, right? It seems like this is where a lot of the anger comes in, is when the people started realizing, like, oh, you're going to play as Abby for the second half.
What, when you see the title screen, like Seattle Day 1? That boom title screen?
Yeah, I think then everyone realized.
My missus
Did you guys...
Go on.
Sorry, go ahead.
My missus got disappointed.
Did she?
And when she saw Seattle Day 1?
No, I don't think it really hit then. I think it was more of a, when you started to upgrade a bit.
Okay, yeah.
And you're like...
When you first get a workbench and stuff.
And you're like, hold on. Yeah, like, obviously I knew
over
this.
Here. Right. Yeah, I mean, I think I was just so intrigued after that whole flashback of, like, oh, what is Abby's whole story here? Like, what's going on, That I didn't really care too much. I didn't really, I think at the time I didn't know. I thought we'd be switching back to Ellie at some point again, like, soonish. But, I like the way it ended up working out. So anyways, you're at the base with Manny now. You realize that their main base is like a football stadium. I don't know if it's supposed to be like what's the NFL team for Seattle, Daniel?
Seattle.
Yeah.
Even I know this. Come on.
Whatever. Football sucks. Whoa. And then, so yeah, you get orders to go speak to Isaac. Abby and Manny do at a different wolf base. I think that's the FOB base. So yeah, Isaac and Abby head out there. Isaac tells Abby that they're bringing Mel along because she has to get dropped off at that same base or whatever. I think just for like medical care stuff. Yeah.
That was a great scene with Isaac because we've been hearing about Isaac for so long.
Yeah.
He's just been teased and...
Yeah, we'll get there in a second.
Okay.
Isaac, yeah.
Shout out to the stadium though. The stadium's great. Like such visual storytelling that they've gone into this base and they've built a city, a gym, a school. Like you see Abby's bedroom's like a booth, not a booth. What do they call them? They call them. I mean, we call them.
Booth works. Yeah. It's like a VIP booth.
Yeah, a VIP booth for the game.
Yeah,
and the visuals, and then you obviously go down the stairs. You've got your shops, you've got your crops growing, you've got these kennels at the bottom. Like such great visual storytelling of like people are making these communities. This game is really good at you look at all these communities that have been built. Like Jackson looked great, proper like country vibe, and then you got this. I don't know, like tech. More upbeat, up tech way of the Seattle Seahawks stadium. Kind
of a little more tech.
Yeah, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's a bit more they're working with what they got type thing.
Yeah,
it seemed like Jackson, that town was like built from the ground up, and they're just.
I got the sense it was way more
old stuff.
Yeah,
definitely.
It's huge,
Yeah, this was surprising to me because I don't think we realized how big like the Wolves group were exactly like at that point. And
Yeah.
then you realize there's like hundreds of them. But yeah, you get that Naughty Dog walking around, different scenery thing. Like they put one of these in all their games. And we
Always.
did get it earlier in Jackson too. So yeah, then you learn that Mel and Abby haven't spoken since Jackson, just because they're mad at each other, and Mel's uncomfortable with what happened in Jackson. And then the three of you start driving. Oh, also Alice, the dog, is there. This is when you meet Alice again, and I was like, oh no, I fucking killed this dog.
Yeah.
I didn't realise. I didn't click to me until I walked in the room as Abby, and I was like, oh no, what have I done?
Oh, I tried not to kill Alice my second playthrough when I was with Ellie. I was like, I'm not gonna kill her, but she jumps you, and you have to mash square.
Yeah, you probably die.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, you die for sure. Brutal deaths in this game too. We never
Oh,
talked
man.
about that. The bloaters do when they rip your jaw.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, the three start driving, and then they get ambushed by some scars on the way out. We get another cool driving part here.
Yeah, this was good. I
this
like
one-
this bit.
Yeah,
this was
this
better
one's
than the
great.
Jesse one, I think.
Yeah. I thought
I like the one later more than the Jesse one. I like the Jesse one a little bit better than this one.
sure. So yeah, then you end up crashing the car, and then three set out on foot to the FOB base. And then once at the FOB base, Abby and Manny are told to go see Isaac. Before they do that, they talk to Nora, who tells them that Danny, who was stationed with Owen, has been shot and killed, and no one knows where Owen is.
Who's Danny?
So then
Somebody explain to me who Danny was. Was I supposed
Danny
to
was
care?
just some wolf stationed with Owen. And
So he
then
wasn't
was
in the
one-
room with Joel.
No, he wasn't there.
Okay.
He was just another wolf. Yeah. And apparently no one liked them because all they did was talk shit about him the whole time.
Fuck
Yeah.
Danny.
Yeah, fuck Danny. So then, you go talk to Isaac. Swear, you get a cool reveal that Isaac's the guy from Westworld. I don't know if you guys caught that.
Yeah, Jeffrey Wright.
Yeah, there you go. Good actor.
Yeah,
He's
but he didn't really
Isaac-
play a massive part in this game, though, did he?
He didn't
No,
need
not
to.
really.
He was like such a
Good scenes,
disappointment.
though.
I thought, we're going to see a bit more of Isaac. He had like 3 scenes, and
I don't think
get
he
me-
needed to. He was intimidating. Both scenes were super intimidating with him.
he owned the scenes. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
So then, they go talk to Isaac, and then Isaac tells them that they're planning an attack on the Scars Island. What do they call them? Separatists, right? Yeah.
The
Seraphites.
Seraphites.
Seraphites, that's it. Yeah.
Did you not listen
So
to
then,
Lev?
yeah, they.
Seraphites.
I just
Alright.
want to call it the Scars.
Not
You
Scars.
guys are fucking
Loved
Scars.
it when she did
Yeah.
that every single time.
He.
He.
Is it?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, and then Isaac tells Abby that she wants him and Manny to lead the first wave of the attack on the island.
Yeah.
But
Is this? Did we already meet his dad at this point, or is that like when we're leaving? Manny.
Manny's?
Yeah. Is that his dad or his uncle or something?
Who are...
I don't think you meet Manny's dad. I think
Yeah,
you
you
mentioned Manny's dad. You do?
No. You
Who's
meet
Manny's dad.
It's in the cafeteria or whatever. You meet his dad. There's like a conversation.
Oh, is he the guy that hands you burritos?
No,
Yeah,
no,
that
no,
was
no,
back
no.
at the,
No,
the
'cause
football
Manny-
base then.
Okay, yeah, you guys must have. We must have missed it then. I forgot to mention it. You go. You can go and talk to Manny.
I
He's
don't
sitting
think
there
I did this.
with his dad.
Oh, really? I did. Yeah, because he goes
Yeah.
to... Because as you walk through the stadium, he goes, look, go and get me something to eat, and I'm going to go speak to my dad.
Yeah, I remember getting the burritos, and I
Yeah,
talked to one guy.
there's
that
one
was
guy
in
on the...
with
Yeah,
you.
you
I
speak
think
to
his
one
name's
guy.
Jordan. There's Jordan,
Yeah,
the guy
oh,
with the
Jordan,
scar.
Yeah,
And then you can
explains
go-
the burrito.
You can go find Manny and talk and see the little interaction with him and his dad.
What's the
Oh,
interaction?
that's cool.
He's just his dad's sick and he's trying to take care of his dad.
Yeah, because they mentioned his dad earlier in that part. I didn't know you could actually meet the dad though.
Yeah. It's a really good scene.
Interesting.
So Abby then decided. Oh yeah, we should mention that Danny told Isaac that his last words were that Owen was the one that shot and killed him. Right. So now Abby is obviously very worried about Owen. Like she doesn't know what's going on with him. No one knows where Owen
She's
is.
afraid of Isaac doing something to him.
Right. Exactly. Isaac doesn't want to send a group after to find Owen. He doesn't think it's worth it. And then he said if Owen shows up, he'll give him a chance.
But it's full of shit.
So Abby decides that she's gonna go off and find Owen on her own. I think Manny doesn't really like that, but he ends up helping her escape that place anyways. Not really escape, but sneak out of there. So then we get another flashback. It's 3 years earlier. We see Owen and Abby sitting on top of a Ferris wheel. Abby wants to go back to training, but Owen wants to keep exploring. They eventually find the aquarium. I think it's the first time we see the aquarium.
This is also the first time you get really that she's afraid of heights too.
Yeah.
On the Ferris wheel.
On the Ferris wheel.
Yeah, they hint at that a lot.
I really like that scene, and I like this whole little bit.
It's a great relationship that Owen and Abby have, and it's such a shame the way it ended.
Yeah, I thought Owen was such like a realistic feeling character,
Yeah,
he was
real dude.
He was a good guy, but he had his problems too.
Yeah. So yeah, they run around the aquarium for a little while. Everything looks cool. We get this, cool cinematic looking aquarium. A bunch of stuff you can look at.
Great story. Great story in the aquarium with Owen and Abby, with the 2 kids and the dad.
Oh yeah,
and I was really looking forward to. I really wanted to meet the kids. I thought maybe this is going to play into a part that maybe just kill them. But
yeah, you see Max as like a Seraphite somewhere.
Kill him. Do you?
No. I was saying it.
Oh no,
it'd be really.
I was really wanted that to happen. I was like, oh, hopefully this goes somewhere. And don't get me wrong, they're just little mini stories in the world, but
I thought that would be really cool.
Was that they're just random scars out there, So then, Abby still brings up that she's still bothered by Joel, and that she wants to go after him at some point. And then she says she's going back to training, and then Owen stays at the aquarium. We cut back to present day, or we'll start day 1 with Abby. And then Abby sets out again to the aquarium, because that's where she thinks Owen will be. And then along the way, he fights some infected. Abby gets jumped by some scars and captured. Then we get another flashback. Now, this one's just months earlier. I think it's just supposed to be like a month or 2 before they go to Jackson. Abby goes to visit Owen at the aquarium. He tells her he spoke to an ex-Firefly that heard a rumor about Fireflies regrouping in Santa Barbara. That was Owen that said that. Abby doesn't believe him. Abby then tells Owen she's learned that Joel's brother Tommy is in a settlement in Jackson, and she wants to pursue him to hopefully find a lead on Joel. Owen is against it at first, but after hearing Abby has already gotten everyone else on board, they agree to leave. So yeah, this is obviously where they start the plan to go find Joel and kill him.
Even then, it seems like Owen's pretty hesitant too. She's just stuck on this mission. She's just all she's doing is thinking about Joel and abusing her own body and working out and just learning to kill and fight and just being pulled apart from everything else in her life.
Yeah, I wish we could have gotten a little bit more with everyone else in the group. They were also really wanting to go get Joel. We didn't really get their how angry they were at Joel.
Yeah.
And Owen, like you said, Owen had he was very hesitant about it, but I think at the end of the day he was driven by love. He loved her. At the end of the day, he got with Mel. He got with Mel for I don't know whatever reasons he got with Mel for, and then obviously I don't think intentionally got her pregnant. And then it's just like a love story, like a little mini love story.
So then back on present day, we wake up. Abby's being dragged by some scars. This is a really great scene. This is probably my favorite sequence, up until the end part here.
Yeah, this is the original trailer, right? Or the second trailer.
Yeah. We got this at one of the E3s.
No, it's Paris Games Week.
Oh yeah, sure.
Sorry.
That's great.
So anyways, Abby wakes up being dragged by some scars. Then they begin to hang her from a street sign and say some weird shit while cutting into her stomach. Then 2 wolves walk in, dragging Yara, and the leader asks her where Lev is. She then spits on the leader, and she commands the other scars to clip her wings. Then they do that brutal fucking hold her arms down and then smash her elbow in.
It was bad.
No, that was bad.
Not good. Mm-hmm.
Then all of a sudden, right before one of the scars is about to break Yara's other arm, an arrow goes through his head. and then I forget how they killed the third one. But then one of them backs up into Abby's legs, and she does like a fucking triangle choke.
That's the leader. That's the leader. Yeah, she's like choking her with her own legs as she's hanging.
I was wondering, is that the leader you see on like all the pictures?
No, it's not. It's the way I took it is obviously Lev explains it a bit more, but the woman on the walls was like the good Sephiroth.
She was a prophet.
She wanted this.
She was a prophet.
Yeah, and then she died, and I believe that was the new leader that you might have killed. Am I right?
Oh, the other leader died. Where did we get that?
Well, I think you killed. Yeah, Lev's. Which one? The one on the wall.
Lev talks about. He mentions that there was like a. Isaac also talks about there being like a falling out. There was a peace treaty, and then there was a falling out. The falling out happened when the Oracle died, or the Prophet died.
Oh, okay.
So then that's when the big war, they started fighting again.
So then
I didn't get the sense that she was like, that lady was like a leader. I just got a sense that she was like a head of this like group of Seraphites. Not like a big time.
I got the feeling that she was. I thought that was the big leader. I thought, does that mean she's dead then? Oh.
Yeah, initially I thought it was the lady on the wall.
Yeah.
So then, yeah, they kill that person, and then the three of them, being Abby, Lev, and Yara, fight a bunch of infected in the woods.
This was hard.
Really cool.
So hard.
Yeah, this was hard. Yeah,
that was fun. Yeah. I liked it.
You have really any weapons. This was one.
Yeah, you're punching stuff. You're just punching.
Yeah, for sure. You're just like trying to protect these two kids.
Did anybody struggle? Did you always struggle with like the dodge? I struggled with the dodge so much. Like the camera and the dodge.
I got it down after a while.
I mentioned this before that, like, I wish that there was like a parry system too, or some sort of system like that wasn't just a dodge. Because when you're trying to dodge two different things hitting you, that's when I think it gets hard. When it's like when you're in a one-on-one fight and you can like kind of dodge around, that's pretty fun. But when two things are swinging at the same time, that's when the dodge just I think falls apart.
I wish there was a bit of a lock-on system. Do you know what I mean? Like, especially when like Manny in or something.
Yeah. There's some parts. Well, right here coming up. So they run through the woods for a little while. It's a real scary chase scene.
Cool scene, yeah.
Definitely. Really cool scene. You run into some more scars, and then you eventually run into the lady that stole Abby's backpack. Backpack stealing lady.
In fairness, giant pickaxe. You did rip her ear off. Just saying.
I mean, she probably didn't care. She was a brute. She was a beast.
They're brutes, though, man. There was one part in the game where I threw a grenade at them, and it blew up in front of them. Ooh. And I'm like, hold on a minute. That's blowing limbs off people. You're just that bit bigger.
Abby asked them why the scars are trying to kill their own. Lev says because he shaved his head. Abby doesn't believe him.
Yeah, she just brushes it off or whatever. Don't tell me.
Yeah, whatever. I didn't believe him right then either. I was like, what the fuck? So then they escape to a trailer nearby. Abby then put Yara's arm in a place with like she broke a chair.
Yeah, she breaks the chair.
Yeah.
She puts a little splint on it.
And then she tells Lev that they have to leave by morning because that area gets patrolled by a lot of wolves before she heads out to go find Owen still. You then fight a bunch of infected on a ship before making it to the aquarium. You find Owen in the boat drinking. He tells you why he killed Danny because he was going to kill some unarmed scars, so Owen had to stop him. He then tells Abby he's going to Santa Barbara.
Can I mention that ship real quick?
Yeah, that ship.
There was that part where you're on like the top part of it, I guess you would say. I that was the one fight I didn't like. I don't know why. There was like a big dude, a big bloater. And there's just so much on that top part of the ship.
I really like the way that ship was designed, though. It was designed, kind of, yeah.
You could sneak in like the middle of it, like a hole in the wall, to like get to the other side to like, sneak around. But I don't know. Maybe there was just too much infected in that part of the ship that I just felt like it was too much.
Each area has its own each story, which is really interesting. Like, especially if you get all the notes. And this one in particular was really good. Like one of I think it was the captain or someone had. There was a note saying if you want there's a crossbow in the safe. Evidently, someone had gone and got the crossbow and just killed everybody on the boat.
Right.
Which is things like that are really interesting. The arrow into the body. Yeah.
When you pick it up. Yeah.
And Abby says, "Oh, you must be the guy that killed all these people." Like it's just interesting. Like you read this note, obviously she reads it and then you read it and she then comments about it, maybe just walking around.
So yeah, Owen told Abby that he's going to Santa Barbara on that boat. Abby then tells him to grow up, and then the two just get jiggy with it on that boat,
Straight up.
Didn't expect it.
Banging
out.
Didn't expect it. He didn't even mention oh, what's the rope marks around your neck, the strangle marks. He's just
nope. That's why they were banging.
Yeah, exactly. He's turned on by it.
I did not expect it. It was actually shocking for me. Not in a bad way, but I was not ready for that.
I was under the impression, because I'd read something, another spoiler, that Abby was trans, and I was trying to figure out how maybe I wasn't aware that Lev was trans, and I always thought maybe Abby was trans and maybe she wanted to identify as a man. I didn't really. That's just a stupid thing, but I think I just read the wrong thing.
Because you don't really get much of Lev right now. You get Lev more later.
Yeah.
So yeah, Abby then again dreams at the hospital. This time when she walks through the surgery door, she sees Lev and Yara being hung in that same forest. So you can kind of tell that she's got some...
She's just having nightmares.
Yeah. Because I think her whole reasoning for protecting Lev and Yara so much was just that it was her redemption, sort of. She's done so many bad things that she's kind of just wants to do one good thing,
Yeah, they're just kids, Yeah. And she sees that.
Right.
I think even with Owen saying, he killed that bloke because he wanted to kill a load of unarmed scars, they didn't see the scars as the enemy. They just...
No.
It was just something that they were ordered to do. And they didn't want to do that anymore.
Yeah.
They
Especially
didn't
when
believe
it's just
that
these
fight.
two kids, right?
And
you can tell these kids were just born into it, right?
And Abby kind of joined the wolves to maybe got a deal that from Isaac, look at what we can build, and then obviously she built herself or made herself who she needed to be to then go and do the thing that she thought was something that she needed to do, but realized that that she needed to get away from the wolves. I mean, she did it for herself to train herself to go get Joel. But she had that. She probably could have just. Yeah, the protection. She probably could have just stuck with her Salt Lake City crew, just did whatever, being fireflies by themselves or whatever. But she didn't. She wanted to train up. She wanted to become a killer. She wanted to get Joel revenge.
Yeah, I kind of wish we could have got more of that, of seeing the group first join the wolves, because you don't really get a sense that they care so much about being wolves, it's not they really... I think they just joined the group because they were just lost after the fire.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and I think Isaac knows it. He knows that they're a bit of a clique and have history together.
Oh, he definitely does. He even calls them Salt Lake City crew.
Yeah.
So then we're in Seattle day 2. Abby goes back to help Yara and Lev. When she finds them, Yara is in very bad shape, so she takes the two of them back to the aquarium. Once there, they find Owen and Mel. Mel's also at the aquarium now. She went out to go find Owen. So Mel takes a look at the arm, says it needs to be amputated, but they'll need supplies. Abby says she'll go to the hospital on the other side of town to get all the supplies, but it'll take long. So Lev suggests they use the bridge above the tall buildings to get there quicker.
Yeah, then you get the cool scene with around this time too. You get the scene with Owen kind of confronting Abby, these are scars? What are you bringing them here for? And she's they're just. This is when she kind of brings up, oh yeah, they're just kids. They're not killers and stuff,
Which then kind of, with Owen's story of, he wants to protect these unarmed scars, kind of, I don't know,
it's a little weird, yeah.
Which, I don't know, is that bad writing, or is that Owen just being conflicted?
No, he might be conflicted because Abby has been conflicted. Yeah. So he might be thinking oh, why did you bring the scars here? Because I would never have thought you would do that.
Yeah, I think he would have understood it up to the point where she left them at the trailer, but then her going as far as go back and getting them and then bringing them back to the aquarium, I think he was just kind of why are you helping them so much,
Right.
So then, yeah, Lev leads Abby downtown and up a building. That they have to cross this makeshift bridge out of like a crane, over the skyscrapers. This was really
it's so cool.
Such a
this was a really good part.
And the fear as
really
well,
beautiful.
Like, the fear. You feel the fear that Abby has. Like you get the fear.
Like,
you feel how high.
I'm terrified of heights too, and like I'm looking down. I'm like, oh fuck this. There's a moment where like the fog disappears. And you just like see the you see the whole city and everything, and you're like, oh shit. Like, really high.
And it's like,
this is a jank ass bridge.
Did you notice that every time the game made you slip, you slipped on like bird shit?
I didn't.
Yeah. So every time you slipped for a purpose. I mean, you didn't just slip for the sake of it. You slipped because, bird shit is slippery. Do you know what I mean? Like, there was a reason for you to slip. It's so good. Like, it's so clever.
I love the callback of her struggling to get over that last part of the bridge. Like we talked about a little bit ago about the Ferris wheel. We know that she has a fear of heights, and she is a person, and we see her just almost not be able to completely cross this bridge. And then Lev, he was able to kind of talk her through it and trying to have a little bit of a conversation, asking about Owen, right? Like he was trying to get her over.
Why is it weird between you and Owen? She's like, now, Lev.
Yeah,
right now.
Or like Lev was like cold, and she's like, no, cool.
It's cool, yeah.
That last little part on the bridge, like right before you get to the end, I felt like 3 times. There's a part where you're like crawling on that part.
The game, that whole part, there's something, I don't know what it is, but one minute you're fine, and the next minute it's like, it's like my missus is like, can you not do this bit? It's like the game just makes you fall. There's no indication that you're going to slip. All of a sudden, Abby would just go. She's just making.
She's scared. Yeah, she's scared.
Hold on, for dear life. I tell you.
Just crawl over the little thing.
Why did she do that little like crab walk over the top bit? You know, the bit before you go down to the ladder to then like shimmy across before you eventually do fall. Instead of crawling on that really like narrow platform on the point, she does that crab walk. Fucking crawl, woman. Shimmy on your ass. Don't do the crab walk.
That's exactly. I would have been hanging out like.
I'd have been like this.
You're right. Just slowly.
Dear life, like literally soiling myself.
So then they fall into the hotel pool, which is a very, very convenient pool.
Very convenient pool.
Yeah.
I'm sure you wouldn't be able to survive it either way. Going through that glass, isn't there? Like
no, yeah, you'd probably just go like straight through the water and hit the ground there. Like it really wasn't that much water in that pool. How the water in that pool hasn't just like all evaporated by now either? I don't know. I guess
the moisture in the Seattle air.
More science from Dan.
Science.
The moisture in the air. Yeah. Okay.
The coin.
Washington
like
rains
30 years since anyone filled that pool.
Washington rains
the water stuff.
Okay? That's why it just rains.
The coin in the pool, bastards.
There was a coin in the pool?
Yeah.
That one was so hard to find. I did not get that one in my first playthrough.
I didn't know. I just got out of the pool.
And it's like the most murky fucking pool. Like, you never see that thing.
Dirty pool.
I like that. We didn't even mention that about the coins. It's good you brought that up. Like, it's nice that her collectible is, like, attached to her and her father and her relationship with her father. But it's really not, I guess, as cool of a collectible as the superhero cards. But it's nice that it does have actual meaning to her. I like that.
I think it was like a call too to like her and Ellie are like 2 sides of the same coin, right?
Sure.
You know that old saying, yeah. So then, they make their way through the infected-filled hotel. This hotel, man, that part was hard.
Yeah, it's very confusing.
It was a little long.
Did you guys feel like the difficulty jumped when you were Abby? I don't know if it was just because like you had less items now, or like you were rebuilding everything again.
I feel like the game was just throwing stuff at you.
Yeah.
The game wanted you to level up quick. Like, quick.
Yeah, they gave you the books really quick with Abby, but I didn't really feel like it was that much more difficult. I do think I think it was that area, that going down all the different floors. I just think that part was pretty difficult in general. I don't know if it was
that part
a spike,
harder part
just Abby. Yeah, well, it was also super long. There were so many floors you had to go through.
Yeah, it was definitely. It seemed really long. Definitely, I got lost so many times. Even the second time I played it, I still couldn't figure out where I was. It took me a while to figure out that I had to go down through I think you open a door and then you can take your mask off. You go into a lift first or something. It's very confusing. It's a very confusing part of that. And obviously, you get introduced to the new.
Wasn't there a ton of stalkers in there?
Yeah, you get introduced to the stalkers in the war as well. So every time you drop a level, all of a sudden the fucking stalkers like
the worst thing in the
every
game.
time I'm like aiming my gun already at it, and I'm just like, all right, I know you're gonna pop out. They still pop out. I still jump. So yeah, they get to the bottom of the hotel, and then they're right next to the hospital. And then Abby leaves left behind. She tells them, "You can't go in there. There's a bunch of wolves. They'll kill you. So you don't want to do that."
I got that confused at this bit. I was like ready to like sneak in.
Oh, into the hospital.
Yeah, I was like,
okay.
what?
You didn't expect her just to walk in. So then, once at the hospital, the other wolves are commanded by Isaac to hold Abby prisoner because no one's seen her in a couple days. Nora then frees Abby. Then Abby lies, says she needs medical supplies for Owen, and Nora tells her there should be some in the lower floors of the hospital. Then once down there, Abby finds the supplies, but she has to fight some new type of infected that's like the thing straight out of the end of Inside, man. This like
or
combined zombie
some Resident Evil
thing.
boss.
Yeah, that's what it seemed like.
Where do we all stand on this? Like a lot, I think it's divided a lot of people.
This part, really,
I think
I
the
love
fight
it.
is too long for me. I think the sequence of me having to run around, collect bullets, and just keep shooting it was just too long.
What?
And then you had to fight. You shot that little one off of it.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think it got interesting when the other one ripped off, and then you had to fight both of them at the same time. And
Yeah.
like, you couldn't really kill the other one.
So on my second playthrough, I was on like the easiest difficulty. What difficulty did you play it on, Daniel?
I don't remember.
So on
it
my
was like
second
easier
one,
or something.
on my second one, I literally just chucked all my grenades at it, shot it with as many shotguns as I could, went to the rifle gun. I died pretty quickly, and then obviously
There's so many bullets in that thing.
the quick cutscene happens where the thing splits off. I killed the big thing, and then it was it. It was like, oh, it's gone. So then I went into the. I don't know if this happened the first time as well. I went to into the air duct, and then all of a sudden the little thing came back and grabbed me. Does that happen every time?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought that was like, oh, because I hadn't killed it, it came back then.
Yeah, it's every
You
time.
have to kill the big thing before they even let you kill the little thing.
Oh, okay.
If you just go after the little thing, you can't even kill it.
I thought it was special.
I thought it was cool, though. There was a note earlier when you were playing as Ellie that described this monster. I don't know if it's supposed to be the same one. But, like,
I must have missed it.
described. Oh, yeah. There was one that, like, it had, like, a picture of it, too. It was, like,
I didn't see it.
Oh, maybe I did see that.
Yeah.
That was a reference to this thing?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know if it was the same thing or maybe someone saw a different one of this. I think it's really cool how they're building out this world, though, and it's showing that, like, the zombies are also evolving more, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, like,
those-
I don't know, if there is a third one down the line and, like, 10 years later, there'll be, like, more of these things walking
yeah, definitely,
around.
yeah. There's
Yeah.
there was a bit where there's a note as Ellie, and when you're at the boat and you find that bloke underneath, he's in this bit like underneath something, and he's like, I've just found a shambler. Like I thought I killed it, you know, I survived, and then all of a sudden I walked up to it and it exploded, and then I got burned, and then he died. But he explained what happens.
Mhm.
So he's like I said, it's just the environmental and just the storytelling in general. Like even the little mini stories that you just read. Like if you're not reading these notes, you're doing yourself a massive disservice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sometimes
you really need to.
Do you guys like Nora anymore? Just that little interaction with Abby?
No,
No,
I didn't
not
really like. I liked that she actually cared for Abby a little bit, but it didn't really like. They didn't flush Nora out.
she's
I
one
don't
of the
think,
worst
enough.
characters. Her and Jesse were the worst characters for me.
No, Mel is the
Jesse.
worst character. Jesse's
Oh,
an
yeah.
awesome character.
Mel's not even in that. Not even in a category. There's like people I like, people I dislike, and then there's Mel.
Then there's Mel.
You know?
But I love Ashley Burch's voice acting, and I think the character itself is a good character. But I just hate.
Oh, was
Mel.
she Nora?
No. Ashley Burch was Mel.
Oh, she was Mel. Okay, I didn't even know that.
No, I didn't.
So then, yeah, Abby kills the infected and finds Lev outside. He says the wolves are looking for her. The two then steal a boat and head back to the aquarium. Then Mel performs the operation on Yara. It's successful. Abby seems happy. She has the same dream again, although this time when she enters the room, her dad is still alive. Everything looks all like kind of peaceful. You could tell she's kind of like more at peace now because she's helping these kids. It's kind of what I got from it.
It was but still kind of a nightmare.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, she was still walking down the hallway, so
yeah,
she wasn't like fully at peace, but a little bit more now.
Such an iconic hallway.
So then yeah.
As soon as like the first time you ever see it as Ellie, you know where you are.
Right,
exactly. Yeah.
So then, Seattle day 3 now. Abby overhears Yara and Lev arguing about Lev not wanting to leave his mom in Seattle. And then Lev steals a boat.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
He's a him.
It's his.
Yes.
He's he
Lev
now.
is a guy. They call him him throughout the game.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
He was once a girl.
Yes.
I didn't know this. I did not pick up on this. I just thought he was straight up boy.
No, I didn't pick it up on it.
And
either.
they started calling him Lily in that game's. Is it a game development place or is it a cinema? I swear it's a game development building.
I'm not sure.
Like the arcade.
When they start calling him Lily.
I mean, you must have not understood the scene with Yara and Abby.
So I kind of thought they were just like forcing him to be like some dude's wife in the scars, and I was like, oh, that's fucked up.
No,
a little boy do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was a girl at one point.
Yeah, I listened to this more on the second time, man. And Yara and Abby were saying that they wanted her because the women don't really fight, do they? Well, they do.
No,
but
no, they do. He just didn't get picked to be a soldier.
So he was going to be married to somebody.
He felt a certain way, and he wanted to fight, and that's not what.
And obviously, he wanted to be a boy as well, so he shaved his head. And
I will say, I don't think we get enough of that. Of like, why did he want to be a boy, or like, why did he think he was? You know,
that's just how he feels.
Yeah,
such a sensitive subject.
I'm fine with it. I just like it could just use more.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe a little.
I mean, we're just experiencing through Abby's eyes, you know.
Right. Yeah. Good point. There's a whole backstory in Love and Her.
Right.
Anyways, Love steals the boat. He goes to the island to try to get his mother. Abby and Yara go after him, but first they have to get a boat from the marina. Once there, Abby overhears shooting in the distance. She makes Yara stay hidden while she goes and gets a boat. Abby then gets shot at, and Manny tackles her down to save her. Just out of nowhere, Manny pops out. So then this is the really cool with Tommy sniping at you thing where you walk
on the
through
bridge or whatever.
Yeah, this part was awesome.
My favorite part.
Like this.
Definitely one of my favorite part in the game. Yeah. I mean,
so cool.
before this though, like just a quick one to glance over, like Yara's sheer determination to climb things and to go up ladders, just as that
Right.
that she, you know, like she's got one arm, but she doesn't want to feel.
She didn't want help at it.
Yeah, no, yeah. It's just little things like
she
that.
has determination to go get her brother, right?
Yeah.
Like she's really scared. The interaction between her mother and her brother, right? Like doesn't want that to happen.
She knows the mom's not gonna go with Lev. Like,
She knows what.
There's
only one way this could go. So
she doesn't want him to have to do that and confront that, right?
So then, yeah, back to the sniper scene. I loved how many ways there were around this sniper area. I like purposely died at the end of my second playthrough just so I could like go back and like find other ways to do it. There's one where you could like swim under a car.
I did that every time. I've done that twice.
That's what I did. Yeah, that's what I was crawling most of like going prone and then trying to run and then going prone and trying to run. That's what I was doing.
Tom is a badass with that sniper though. Like the way that they acknowledge the fact that this guy is a pro with this sniper rifle.
Yeah, like this guy's good.
Every time he's like, damn, this guy's good. Damn, like it's so good. Did you realise it was Tommy at first? I tried to get a glimpse. I was like trying to get a glimpse of this guy, like trying to shoot him. I thought, maybe, and then obviously at the end it turned out it was Tommy. I wouldn't have known.
Because they mention it when you're playing as Ellie and Jesse. With Jesse, when you overhear those two wolves talking, they mention that there's a shooter at the marina shooting them.
Yeah,
and that's why Jesse goes after them to get Tommy. Yeah. That's why Jesse left Ellie in the first place, because they assumed it was Tommy.
Yeah, that's when they split.
Yeah. So, anyways, you get up there. Then you have a chase after Tommy. Tommy gets some like infected going after you. It's all really cool mechanics going on here.
Well, it's like he
shoots a car and then
he taught Ellie that in the flashback prior. Like he was like, shoot the car, shoot the bench, and they draw them out. This is why you should play games twice, children. Listen to your dad.
Right.
All right.
That's a great scene with those two. Yeah.
Yeah, because it shows their bond as well. Because in number one, they never really. It was kind of Joel was like, "Yo, there's Tommy, go with him," and it was obviously it shows over the 4 years that they've got to know each other, and Tommy's especially when like Ellie's pleading for Tommy's life, like that he is special to Ellie now. Like that's her family. As much as like they don't ever say dad or uncle or whatever, that's technically her uncle.
Right. So then Abby and Manny chase after Tommy. They get closer and closer to him. Eventually, Tommy corners himself in a room. He shuts down. Manny and Abby try to go around. And as they're opening the door, bam!
Boom!
Manny gets shot right in the fucking head. Manny's dead. It was sad.
And what scene though?
You get that second in Abby's face when she's like has her back to like some sort of like wall or whatever, and she just lost like Manny and like covered in Manny's blood, and like that was just really powerful for me. Like seeing
such a good scene, like
so good.
Hey, look at that! We all changed clothes, and Daniel's on camera now.
Changed clothes, and I have a camera. Oh no!
No one noticed it. It didn't happen. He was always here. Don't worry about it. We're good.
My camera's always been here.
Yeah, always here. He was there. You guys just didn't see it. It was weird.
Mm-hmm.
So then, after Manny got shot, Abby then makes her way through the shop and heads out the exit. Then Tommy tackles her and almost gets the upper hand. Then Yara comes up right behind him, stabs him right in the fucking stomach.
That was really cool.
Ugh.
I still didn't know it was Tommy. I knew it was Tommy at that point, but through the whole sequence, I think I've said this before. I didn't know it was Tommy.
You didn't put that one together yet.
I'm a very slow boy.
So yeah, there's a tussle, all that shit. Then Abby ends up throwing Tommy over the pier, and then
I didn't expect that.
Did you think he was dead?
Yeah.
Did anybody think he was dead?
No. I mean, we already knew he was.
Yeah,
we knew he was alive, but I just didn't expect like him to just be thrown into the ocean. You know, I don't know.
I don't know
what I
expected
to happen
at some point and like knock out Abby or something. It's kind of what I was.
Yeah, but we know she shows up, so it's like I didn't really know what to expect with that scene. You know.
I was definitely expecting Jesse at some point.
No,
yeah, maybe.
I was expecting Tommy.
Maybe he just finds him later.
I wasn't expecting Jesse at all. I couldn't.
Well, because he went off to go get Tommy, like when you were playing as Ellie.
Yeah.
So it's kind of just like I was definitely expecting Jesse to save him, but it's whatever. I like the way they still did it.
No, it was good.
So
it was
then,
a good scene.
Yeah. So then, Abby and Yara are going towards the island. They get to the island. Remember, they're going to get Lev because he's trying to go get.
He went to go confront their mom. Yeah.
Yeah. Once at the mom's house, they find Lev in the corner crying. Lev said his mom was chasing him and tried to attack him. He ended up pushing her, and she ends up hitting her head on like the side of like this fireplace thing, and she's dead.
Yeah.
Lev's real upset about it. Real emotional scene.
Very, very emotional scene.
I thought it was very rushed. I don't know. I thought they could have took the time with it.
They don't have time. That was the point. I guess they like at that point the invasion is happening, right?
I just felt like from now on it was like go 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 go.
Yeah, it's because they had to get Lev, they had to get him, and then get off that island. So there wasn't really a lot of time. There's a war happening.
Yeah. So then the three of them leave the mom's house, and then they run into some more wolves. One of them grabs Yara and shoots Abby. Then they knock out the wolf as Lev tries to help Yara. And more wolves surround them. Then Isaac walks in. It's that scene now. It's
they don't shoot Abby. They shoot Yara, right?
Was that it? Yeah, shoots
Not
Yara.
Abby.
Yeah,
because Yara
doesn't
she
jump
falls
through a
down.
window or something?
Oh yeah, misspelled. Yeah. You're right. Yara got shot in like her side.
And then Abby's like holding Lev behind her.
Yeah.
And then that's when Isaac walks out.
Isaac walks out. Isaac asks Abby what she's doing here. Abby begins to block Lev to protect him. Then Isaac then orders Abby to move away from Lev. or he'll shoot them both. So it's like a standoff now, right?
Yeah, it's when he has the pistol and he starts counting, and then he counts. He starts lowering it, and then he gets to 3. He's waiting for Abby to back down, and then he pulls it back up one more time.
Yeah,
and then you hear pop pop.
Right, and then all of a sudden Yara, who's on the ground, got a gun somehow, shot Isaac in the head.
Did he?
Unclear if he's dead or not.
Did she? Is that what happened?
They never show, but I'm pretty sure he's just dead.
No, yeah, I don't know, because it could be the same thing with Tommy, where he got like shot in the side of the head.
Who shot Isaac?
Yeah, but she shot him.
Yara.
Yara did. She's on the ground, and then they shoot Yara. Yeah.
Right about.
When the tussle happened, a gun. I don't know if it was like a gun from Abby, maybe. Yeah, no. Abby
I think it was the gun that shot Yara. I think Abby took out the person that shot Yara in the gun.
Oh yes. Then she stole that, and then I
just thought it was like Crossfire that got shot. I didn't think.
No, that was Yara. That was Yara's last move.
I didn't know that. I thought she was just dead at the moment, and then I thought it was just some Crossfire.
Because as soon as Yara shoots Isaac, she gets shot a couple more times.
A lot more times.
And then
the whole group that surrounded them just shoot up Yara's body.
I'm gonna have to watch that.
Abby and Lev run away. Yeah.
Yara got done dirty, did she? Like I thought she was gonna make it.
Yeah, but she protected her brother right until the end. That's what she wanted to do. That's what she came back to the island for. So
yeah, that gives Abby and Lev an opening to make their escape. Then, while trying to get to the Haven area of the island, Abby and Lev fight through a bunch of wolves and scars. It's really cool when you're riding through there. This is like, remember we get like that horse scene. It's epic. There's a bunch of fire everywhere.
This was the scene I was telling you.
And wolves fighting each other.
We brought up the Jesse part, and I said like there was another scene that I liked more. It was this scene when they're on the horse and they're going. This was I really like this.
Yeah, very cinematic. Then
buildings falling down and stuff.
Abby and Lev then find a boat and head back to the aquarium. Oh, we're also skipping the whole part with
the final boss fight.
But there's that part, scary boss fight with the guy that gets
can we talk about that dude?
Looks super scary. Hell yeah, we can talk about that dude.
When she's like, I love when she grabs his jaw and just like twisting it and stuff. Oh, she gouges his eye.
How is he still standing, man? He's off. His face hanging off.
Adrenaline. His adrenaline is going.
And that guy's on steroids for sure.
The amount of these like big tanky guys, man, like throwing grenades at them and then just watching them walk towards them.
Yeah, they just take grenades.
I was like, hold on a minute.
The most video gamey thing in the game, for sure.
Just really took me.
For sure. So yeah, Abby and Lev then escape. They get a boat. They go back to the aquarium. Once at the aquarium, you find a dead Alice, who's the dog. That's the first thing you see. You start getting this like worrying feeling from Abby. Then she walks in and sees Mel and Owen's dead bodies.
She just throws up.
Which of course was.
I mean, it's probably one of the most raw emotions we see of her, right? Like, that she's just such a cold-blooded murderer. Maybe not a murderer, but a killer. And for her to see someone that she loves so much, it's just she couldn't take it. So yeah, Lev then finds a map on the ground right there. This is the map Ellie had throughout the whole time.
This is the worst part of the game. Like she conveniently dropped the map. She conveniently knows where she is now. I mean, what was if that map wasn't there? Like Abby would never know who did it.
Yeah.
See that initially, I didn't even notice Lev picking up the map and handing it to her. I don't know why, but so on my first playthrough, I was like, how the fuck did she find this theater? Like, that was my whole concern the whole time. I was like, that's the biggest plot hole. I brought it up earlier. Yeah, I remember you brought it up, and then that's when you told me. So now it makes a lot more sense to me now. I do see why it's, like, super convenient. That and the radio Ellie has at the theater, just the most convenient things ever.
And the other convenient thing is Abby running into Joel.
Yeah,
that's the one bit that really grinds my gears. Well, what are the odds? Abby's like, I'm gonna go find this man on my own. I mean, I guess with a story like this, you have to have some sort of convenience, right? You got to move the story along.
No, you do.
Joel, he's out there patrolling, and she's out there running away. So, I mean,
And they're not
It's a good
necessarily
way.
bad because I mean, like shit like this happens in real life all the time. Like how many times is like just something
Sure.
really convenient
Yeah.
happen to people? You know, yeah. I mean, shit happens. So then, yeah, that leads them to the theater. Then once at the theater, Abby and Lev sneak in, and then the same events go down that we saw at the end of last time we saw Ellie at the end
We
of
just
day
see it.
3.
We just see it from
Jesse
her
gets
perspective.
shot. We see a different perspective.
We
Can now
see
see
Lev
Lev
there.
in the camera.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, Jesse gets shot. They somehow pin Tommy down. I forget how exactly, but then they have him on the ground.
Lev-
He goes to like attack her, and then she just drops him real
And
quick.
Lev
like
puts an arrow in his knee.
Yeah, she shoots.
Oh,
he
yes,
shoots him,
that's it. Yeah.
Boom.
and then she takes him down.
Yeah.
And then she has the gun to
Then
him.
Abby starts.
And then Lev,
then
he's-
Ellie starts to beg for his life.
She throws her gun down.
But it's such an emotional. It's like raw emotions. Like everyone's. I was like, please don't kill Tommy. Please don't kill Tommy. Just don't kill Tommy. Don't. And then obviously, then it all starts to pop off, and she shoots him. And I was like, what the fuck? Like how? What? How? Like as quick as that as well. Dead. And you're like, what the fuck?
She wasn't playing. She just lost to Owen. Like she's not playing
so
anymore.
like you just said, Tommy decides to make a move all of a sudden. Then some scramble happens, and Abby ends up shooting him right in the side of the head. At that point, we think he's dead. I think
I was
Most of us
convinced
did, right?
he was dead. Like
I think. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
there was no way he was coming back.
If you look at the scene, she does shoot him like this way, so like that could just hit his eye, right? It wasn't a full headshot. She does just shoot this way. And like,
I've only seen it
looking
once
back at the scene.
before.
But I think you're supposed to think that he dies there.
All we know is that Tommy's Terminator.
Yeah, definitely.
All right.
Yeah,
Tommy's crazy. It's Joel's brother, man. You know.
I know.
So yeah, that then gives Ellie a chance to run away. Ellie then runs into the back. Abby chases her down. This is where the whole epic boss fight happens. This is really cool. I think I thought this boss fight was so well done. It was so cool.
I did not like it.
You didn't like it, really? I
liked-
loved it.
I liked parts of it. I don't think it was necessary.
It's just the whole
I loved
sneaking
how
around.
Ellie was setting up traps and like using the things that you were using throughout the game. I don't know. It really worked for me.
Oh, she never set a trap.
I
for
wish
me.
it was
What
little-
traps was she setting?
Oh, she
Yeah,
was
she
setting
didn't
like the bomb traps. You guys didn't get that, really?
No, she didn't set traps for me. No,
Oh yeah, she set them multiple.
I think I
traps
was-
for me, yeah.
I was probably just too quick. I just kept like stealth around, go around,
Going
get her.
for it.
Go,
Yeah,
stealth.
I think you could
yeah.
kind of cheese it and like do it really quickly if you wanted to. I had
Yeah.
like a whole long, drawn out fight though on my first. time.
I think that it was just a little too long. They should have just cut that real short, have an altercation, and that's it.
Maybe a cinematic. I ballsed it up. Like I fucked it up on purpose. Obviously, then I think Ellie stabs her. I just put the controller down. I was like, well, that's the story then, isn't it? There's no need. Like she's killed Abby. Done
That's
it.
what I wanted.
That
right?
was it.
Turn
Like
the
I was
fight
like, that's
on.
all that needs to happen right now. I was like, well, there's no point now. Obviously, it wasn't what they wanted to do, but I did want to see what happened, so I died on purpose.
Yeah, it
But
worked for me.
even-
I
even
think if go ahead.
Go ahead. That's
Okay.
okay. Go
I
ahead.
think if you were gonna do a boss fight in The Last of Us, this is how to do it, right? Like we kind of get a boss fight in the first one with the scene with Ellie and David, and
Yeah.
that's kind of what this reminded me of. This reminded me of more like of an upgraded version of that kind of.
Yeah, definitely. I think that, like, I want to question to both of you: is this like at this point, is that what you would have wanted? Was just Ellie just to kill Abby right there? Do you guys
No.
not like Abby that much?
No,
Yeah, me
but
either. I don't think that's.
No, I loved Abby.
In
I know.
storytelling though, like if Ellie gets the upper hand in that predicament, it's over, isn't it? Like,
In that predicament right there, like
Like,
in
'cause
that moment,
Ellie's
yeah, she would've
hunting
killed her, yeah.
Abby. Do you know what I mean?
Why you weren't playing as Ellie? Exactly.
Yeah. But I think that this scene really shows that just pretty much this whole scene, the whole theater scene, just shows that Abby is just so much better at just being a killer than Ellie is in every way.
Trained
She comes
warrior,
in,
like,
kills
Ellie's-
Jesse, boom, pops Tommy, runs in there, takes Ellie down. It's over. Beats Ellie to a pulp. Dina shows up. She still wins the fight. It's just like, we'll get to that in a second, but it's just like Abby's just better in every way at killing than
Yeah,
She's
speaking
trained
on that, it's
for
it's
years.
because Abby's
you know?
had like Abby is like 4 years ahead of where Ellie was on like their
Yeah,
journey,
just
right? On their,
trained.
like revenge missions, right? That's why
Yeah.
Abby's fucking jacked because like she's been training to go kill Joel for years now.
and Ellie is like just started her revenge mission, so they're kind of just on different places. That's why it makes sense why Abby was so much stronger in her.
Definitely.
She fucking
then
battered her. Absolutely just made a mockery of Ellie.
Oh, gets brutal. Yeah, here we'll talk about it right here. Toward the end, Abby gets the upper hand in the fight. She beats the shit out of Ellie. Does a Kimura to break her arm, and then Dina rushes through the door. It is a Kimura. It's a good technique, man.
I was so scared, man. I was so scared.
Oh man,
this
whole fight.
This is the part where I thought she was
going
to die.
rushes through the door.
Yeah.
Anyways, we got Dina rushing in through the door. She then tackles Abby. Then Lev comes in, shoots Dina right in the shoulder. And then Abby smashes Dina's face against the ground with like that classic like elementary school fight.
I was just not ready for all of this to come to a head so quickly with all four of them. All four of them. Yeah, he shoots her with the bow, and then that whole. I just was not ready for this. It came really quickly.
She then begins to almost slit Dina's throat. Ellie then begs her not to. She says she's pregnant, and then Lev cries out to Abby. And then Abby puts down the knife and tells Ellie, "Don't let me ever see you again."
It's the best part of it is though when like Ellie's like she's pregnant and Abby's like good. It's like yo, I was ready for Dina to die. I was like at this point she deserved like.
Didn't she said like good or something?
Yeah, she was like good, and then obviously Lev was like no, but
he was like Abby,
like the aggression.
He saw that monster coming back, right? And he didn't want.
I was ready at that moment.
I think that if she would have did that, Lev, he would have like, that's it. Like you are what you were trying to not be anymore, right? It's over for you. Like,
yeah, this is the point where Abby like truly like begun to let it go. She's like, all right, we've had enough here. Like it's been done.
You stay away from me, I stay away from you. I don't ever want to see you again.
Anything else?
And then you get that awesome shot of Dina being just unconscious with the arrow in her back, and you see Ellie kind of looking at her. She's moving a little bit, but not much. She's just bloodied. That's just a great shot. It's just a top-down view of both of them.
Yeah, I would have been really curious on like the journey back to Seattle.
Yeah, me too.
No, not Seattle, Jackson. Like how they made it with Tommy, like almost bleeding out, and then of course all three of them are really badly hurt. It must have been a really hard journey,
Yeah, like just seeing that shot of just like they lost. That's it. They lost. They did not. Right. They came here. They lost Jesse. All these injuries, and they still didn't get what Ellie wanted.
Got me out.
And then we see later how that ends up affecting Ellie. That they didn't succeed.
Yeah.
So now some time has passed. Ellie and Dina are living on a farm somewhere outside of Jackson. We don't really know where. We assume it's close by somewhere.
Yeah, definitely.
Dina's had her and Jesse's child, so the baby's there now.
Little JJ.
As you're playing, you pick up the. Did they name the baby?
JJ.
JJ.
Oh, it was just JJ.
It'd be Jesse
okay.
Joel on it. So.
Jesse Joel, yeah. I assume.
Like seriously?
It's got to be on it. Like, it's got to be.
Jesse Joel.
Well, I mean, the baby also has a last name.
Jesse Joel. He's got two first names.
Yeah, but his name is JJ. Do you know what I mean? Like.
Yeah, they just call him JJ.
Let it go, man.
I can't now. I don't, that just baffles me. Jesse Joel. Who names a kid that? Okay, so we're at this farmhouse. We're carrying the baby. It's a whole beautiful scene. You sit on a tractor. You call the baby a little potato. It's all good. Good vibes. Looking all cute. Ellie's basically living like their perfect life here, or at least Dina's perfect life. I think this is what. There was a dialogue earlier in the game. I think it was in that open world part where Dina was saying she'd like to go live outside of Jackson in a farmhouse somewhere. So now you're getting that. You're pretty much getting Ellie and Dina's perfect life here, right?
It's one of the most beautiful environments of the whole game. Just the sunset.
The lighting.
So beautiful.
It proper leads you to like a false sense of security because you believe the game is ended.
Right.
I expected, going down.
You think like credits could roll any second.
Yeah, exactly. You see the lamb and you walk down towards the farm.
Well, especially when you get to the tractor, you sit on the tractor with JJ, and it kind of zooms out.
You
a
just
little
expect
bit.
it, don't you? You just expect credits to roll, and you're like, oh, fair enough. Not, you know what I mean? Like, what's done is done. Do you know what I mean? And obviously, I'll let you continue. Me having to text you, going, how long have I got left? Like,
hours. Still multiple hours. So then, while herding some sheep, Ellie begins to have PTSD-like symptoms and sees Joel's death again, and then begins screaming. Dina calms her down. So we see that it's still really affecting her. That she didn't succeed. She didn't kill Abby. She doesn't feel like it's over. Ellie has not let it go. Some more time passes, and Ellie comes home from a hunting trip. She sees Tommy's there, who came to visit. Their house outside of Jackson. Tommy then tells Ellie she's heard from someone that has recently joined the community that he saw a woman and a little boy with scars somewhere in the Santa Barbara area.
She was built like an ox, is what he says.
Built like an ox.
Yeah, built like an ox. Yeah.
At this point, just right here, at this point, I love Tommy as a character, but he just became a villain in the story.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Pretty much. He's in the same place as Ellie, where he can't let it go either. And it's unfortunate for Tommy now because he can't do anything. She kind of did, though. Yeah, she did it with that PTSD. She still has that. That's what that was showing. Yeah,
she still has her problems with it.
She would have had them for the rest of. Yeah, like Tommy just had that push. Like if Tommy had never turned up on that day, it would have been just what it is. She would have. It would have been. Yeah. Should have just learned to deal with it.
She would have just dealt with it. Yeah.
Maybe. I'm not sure.
She wouldn't have known where it was.
I don't think she wouldn't have gone out like constantly.
Yeah, she wouldn't have went to Santa Barbara or anything.
Maybe not that quickly, but I think at some point it still would have bothered her so much that
I don't think so.
She would have had to have.
I don't think so.
That, or she would have just gone crazy with the PTSD.
Yeah, probably that.
I mean, people do that though. It's a problem. I don't. Yeah, he just became a villain at this point.
She would never have found her.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Still found her. Small world, man. U.S. small country.
No, it's not.
Completely small. Dina then gets upset, tells Tommy to leave, tells them that they're both done with that. This is then when we get the dance scene. Finally, we get another flashback. We finally get this dance scene that I was just looking for the whole fucking game. I was like, where is this scene?
Yeah.
Because we saw this years ago at E3. It must have been like 2018.
Yeah, I think so.
I think at this point in the game, I just thought they cut it. I was like, oh, okay, we're obviously not getting that dance scene. Or it was like something you were supposed to watch before you even started the game, you know?
There wasn't much more to it. It was, they had like that last conflict.
Yeah.
With the guy, and that was kind of the only added thing to the scene.
This bit broke me. This is the part that probably got me nearly on the edge of tears. I was like, obviously,
I know.
He says, she said, I don't go away or something. I forgot what she says. And obviously,
but she's like, I don't need you, Joel.
Something like that, yeah. So then, obviously, that ends, and you're like, that was the last thing she ever said to him. And at that point, I was like,
I think that's what you're supposed to think.
Yeah, guttering.
Right.
So, what was I going to say? It was just, that's what it made you believe, wasn't it? Like, it was horrible. Like,
yeah.
What a way to just dupe you even more. Like, obviously, it pays off, but heartbreaking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we had that whole thing with Seth, and then, like Sims just said, Ellie gets mad at Joel after he butts in on the whole conflict going on. And because at this point, Ellie's still upset with Joel. This is like towards the end. This is like, it must have been a day before Joel was about to die.
Yeah, this was the night before they go out.
Yeah, so she still hasn't forgiven him for the events of the first game. So yeah, you think that's the last thing Ellie says to him, but it's not.
Oh, spoiler inside the spoiler cast.
Spoiler inside the spoiler cast. So then we cut back to current day. Dina then wakes up to find Ellie packing her things. Ellie says she can't move on from this, and then she has to finish it. Dina says she won't do this again, and she might not be here when Ellie returns.
Yeah, and Ellie's like, I don't plan on dying, but what a poor excuse.
Yeah.
I genuinely
think. I mean, you almost can't blame Dina at this point. Because it's just like, all right, I mean, if you can't let it go, then I have to let you go.
No, she makes a great point. Like, what am I waiting for? Like, I don't know if you're alive or dead. Could it be a long time, you know.
Lord only
Everything-
knows how long it would take to walk to fucking Santa Barbara from Jackson.
Everything's
Like,
changed,
yeah.
hasn't it?
You know,
Everything's
Wyoming's-
changed.
Wyoming's
for,
really far.
For Dina as a mother, everything has changed.
right,
Yeah,
she's
she's
all
all
about the kid then.
Like, and it shouldn't. And she obviously thinks that shouldn't matter to Ellie because she's technically a mom as well.
Yeah, they have a family, right?
It's just
Like,
priority.
This is what they both wanted.
It's all Tommy's fault.
100%.
Fucking Tommy, man.
Wanker.
Wanker, I tell you. Old geezer.
No.
We then cut to Abby and Lev searching for the firefight base in Santa Barbara. They eventually find an old outpost and get a radio working to get in touch with other Fireflies who tell them where they are located. I forget where they were located. Some famous.
Catalina.
There you go.
Catalina Island.
So yeah, they found more Fireflies. They found an old base. There's, I believe the guy I said on the radio, there's a group about 200 strong of Fireflies,
Yeah.
right?
He has like 200, 250, something like that.
Something like that, yeah. So it's good to know they actually found Fireflies.
I like this bit because
Yeah, and then... Go ahead.
as Abby, obviously in that cutscene with the guy with the no face, she'd lost her back, didn't she? So obviously starting again and
Yeah.
going back to her, she had the basics again. Do you know what I mean? They didn't make that like game mistake. Like, you know, you lost them. It's back to basics. Even though you only played, this is like the last time you play as her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they also give you like a false sense of like normalcy. Like you're killing some infected,
Yeah.
you're collecting pickups, but it's like you're not really going to do anything with that.
Very true.
Yeah, they think they're enormously until on the way out they get jumped by a mysterious group, and then Lev takes a right hand from Al.
Yeah.
And then remember this, he gets hit and then he hits his head on the garage, and it's just brutal. It's like,
I thought he was
He's
dead.
He's so small. Yeah, he's so small. That guy was big.
Yeah.
Just bam.
Yeah, oh, that guy was huge.
I thought it was game over for Lev then. I was like, yo.
Yeah, he's dead.
Don't mess with him. Do not
Brain
mess
trauma.
with him.
He's out.
That's why Abby's like freaking out. Like he just watched him get destroyed, you know, and she's like on the ground.
brutally.
And then doesn't
Knocked
she get
out.
a big hit too?
Yeah.
Yeah, she gets knocked out somehow and then tied up. And then then we cut to Ellie, then arrives in Santa Barbara. After finding Abby's ship, she is retracing Abby and Lev's steps. Eventually gets caught by a zombie trap. A group called the Rattlers set up. Yeah, so now we know they're the Rattlers. I like all these
The
names of the
Rattlers.
different groups.
It's a cool name.
I really like this group.
I like them
They're
too,
okay.
but you know what we need is the multiplayer to come back, the factions.
It's
You know,
coming, isn't
Because
it?
we got all these different groups now with the Wolves, the Scars, Rattlers.
I mean, the Rattlers. I mean, spoilers.
Jackson
They might be
people.
done. They might be done at the end of this.
Yeah, maybe a little.
Yeah.
Or who knows?
They
how
can
big
still be in the
Rattlers
online though,
can be,
can't
you
they?
know?
I can't wait for the online.
Yeah, it's probably coming, right?
They've said they were doing it, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah. So then, as Ellie got caught in this zombie trap, she gets stabbed by a tree branch. It's really brutal. There's like blood leaking out.
Yeah.
She's hanging upside down. It's gross. She
Horrible.
passes out. She wakes up. Two of the Rattlers are trying to untie her. Then gets mad. Tries pushing her into a. Oh yeah, she tries pushing one of them into a. I forget how the Rattler got mad at Ellie. Something. Ellie made some sarcastic comment, right? And then one of the Rattlers was like threatening to push her into one of the other hanging zombies over there. Then Ellie like flips it around, gets him to get bitten. Then
She gets
I think
bitten
Ellie
as well.
also gets bitten.
She gets
once
bit
here,
on them,
too.
yeah. It's
Then
such a good
she gets one
defense
of their
mechanism.
guns, shoots the other one in like the ankle. Then the other one ends up telling her where Abby is, like where their base is.
Is he the
they
leader?
got
Was he
Abby
the
by
leader?
slaves.
I don't think so.
Sounds like he's just like a higher up type guy.
Yeah. He was just a part of that group that met Abby.
Yeah. Ellie fucked him up. Abby could learn a thing or two.
Fucked them up real good.
Oh, she's not as ruthless at this point, right?
And Ellie had all her supplies, man. Give me a full
Yeah, that's true.
backpack.
That's true.
Abby would have been just fine. I could
She
have
had
went
that- we have the
around
new-
that house, you know. I don't know.
We have that new silenced SMG now. Come on.
It's like that argument when John Marston dies in Red Dead 1. It's like, oh, you could have just went behind the barn and like taken cover and just like took all those guys out.
Yeah, there was like 20 guys or something.
Yeah, but you fought more than that anyway.
like
That's another story.
Yeah, you took out way more than that in the game.
I know.
So then, yeah, back to Last of Us. Ellie then makes her way into the Rattler's base. She frees some of the prisoners who tell her that Abby is down by the pillars, down by the beach, because she tried escaping. Once there, Ellie finds Abby and Lev tied up to the pillars. They seem like they've been held captive for a while.
How long do you think it's been?
This is brutal.
I think it's been 2 months or something like that.
Since they got captured? Like,
Yeah.
Abby and Lev?
Yeah.
Man, it could have been a while.
I think it took her like 2 months to get to Santa Barbara, I think.
But we don't know when they got captured, right? Like, we don't know how long after.
Well, I think that the dude that she kills with the glasses and the beard, that
Yeah,
guy, I
he
think
got
he
shot in
says
the
like
leg.
they've had her like 2 months ago. They found this girl named Abby.
Oh, did he? Okay, cool.
I think so. So I think it was 2 months.
So it's got to be a brutal 2 months. I would love a
story, a
DLC with
DLC
that.
for that.
Being a prisoner DLC?
Sounds like they try to escape. Maybe there's some fights or whatever. I don't know.
Abby's prison story and Tommy's journey. They're the DLCs that you want.
Yeah, Tommy's journey would be great. Yeah.
I think Tommy's would have more to do.
There's
I
also
think
another
it's-
one that would be really interesting with Ellie's journey to Santa Barbara. Because if you read in her journal, there's like some really interesting stuff there about her journey to Santa Barbara.
What did she say?
She passes like
said
Las
she passed
Vegas,
by
right?
Las Vegas, yeah, and she like had to go around the whole city, but that she could hear the zombies from the outskirts of the city. So it sounds like Las Vegas is just like completely fucked. It's like, oh, how
That's
cool would, like, a
crazy.
Las Vegas
That's such a
be?
huge city.
Right. It sounds like that. And she said she was like miles away from the city and could still hear the zombies in the city. So it's just like,
Wow.
that,
Yeah.
that place must be just like
That city's on
Oh,
lockdown,
makes a lot
just
of
nothing
sense.
but zombies.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds like a DLC waiting to happen, Naughty Dog.
I didn't read it after that. I was reading it all the way. I'm good. I want to read that now.
Oh yeah, there's some other stuff in there. I forget. She like met someone along the way. Yeah, I forget what happened with the other ones. The Las Vegas one was the one that got me interested, though.
Maybe happened. I think Neil Druckmann's talking out of his arse, saying there isn't going to be any. Because there's 3 stories.
I think they're
there.
working on the multiplayer thing, and I think that'll be pretty much our DLC for this. Unless they do like another Lost Legacy type thing, which would be really cool.
That would be cool.
Yeah, which wasn't necessarily a DLC, so I guess he wouldn't be lying if he said there was no DLC.
True.
That's true. Little standalone game.
So then, yeah, we're at the pillars again. Ellie cuts them down. Then it almost feels like Ellie's about to just like let them go. Like she sees that they've been through so much right now, and it's just like it's like, all right.
Do we want to, before we continue here, do we want to talk about the Rattlers at all? Any of that fighting? Do you want to talk about the prisoners?
There's a cool fight scene. It's where you get like the machine gun or whatever the.
Yeah, you get the SMG
Autogun
and
you could
the
use
Rattlers
Oh,
are
there's
interesting.
really
They-
cool things with the zombies that were
clickers.
trapped.
Yeah,
You could,
chained
like,
up.
unchain them.
unchain 'em,
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
did
that was really cool.
It was really good. Like at the end, the setting was really good. It was just, I think maybe a lot of players, maybe they were just like, look, I just need to get to the end now. I don't know. I think if they,
I think that's exactly how they wanted you to feel. It's just another group, another bunch of bad guys. Ellie's just got to do it again, right? Like, I feel like that's kind of the feeling that they wanted you to have. They were way like heavier armor, right? Like they had helmets,
yeah.
and stuff. Like the Rattlers were tough.
I was using the explosive arrows a lot because they used to like run at clumps at you. Like there was in the houses, they'd all run at you, and so I was just like pop, boom, and I'd kill all of them.
You could set the trap bombs too.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Oh man,
Yeah,
I
it
love the
was
way they explode.
big old fight scene.
God, it's so good.
That
So then,
prison
yeah,
scene
Ellie was
really cool too.
Oh
Like,
yeah, when she freed them all.
fighting the guard and then the prisoners tying her up and grabbing her up, and then they grab the key and stuff. I thought that was a really cool scene because as Ellie, like, she doesn't know these prisoners, like they could be like bad, so that one calls her out or whatever, pulls up the gun, and they just kind of go their
I
own
almost
way.
thought you'd have to kill them all. I was like, oh,
I know,
kill
I
all
know.
of you motherfuckers.
Because they immediately run to the equipment locker, get all the rifles and stuff. They're gonna go kill all them Rattlers. That's what I was saying. Like the Rattlers are probably done. They start burning the place.
Yeah, that one last explosion.
As you're walking out, you see it explode.
So then, Ellie was almost about to let them go. She then remembers Joel and the death scene again. And she turns
Abby
around.
just looks...
She's like, I can't let you go. Can't do it.
Can't do it.
I want to talk about Abby's look, too. You see that she was starved. Like, she hasn't worked. She
slimmed down a lot. Lost those arms, man.
Yeah, she's just... They shaved her head, it looked like. As soon as she got there, they shaved her head. So she got a little bit of growing back for 2 months of growing or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They don't feed them. I guarantee you that's why she lost a lot of mass. Like, she's just been abused for 2 months.
She did not look like Abby.
No, it was just sad, you know?
Yeah, it was... You definitely felt for it at this moment. Like, it's not very nice.
Just let it go, Ellie, you know?
At what point...
She can't.
At what point were you begging her to stop? At the barn? Now?
As soon as before this conflict actually started.
Just stop.
Yeah,
just let him go.
I think I just kind of thought, like, okay, she's just going to let him go. Like, they've been through enough. Like, you've pretty much gotten your revenge through this. Like, because Abby's been through hell now. But she doesn't let them go. The two have a good old-fashioned scrap. It's a barn burner, let me fucking tell you.
It's a slobber knocker.
It was a war because there's only one person with one weapon, and that's it. It was sad.
They're having a fight. Abby bites 2 of Ellie's fingers off. Ellie starts drowning Abby, and then just as she was about to finish her off, she remembers a better image of Joel. This was the last time she actually last saw Joel, and then she lets Abby up, tells her to get out of here. And then we get that cool scene with like Ellie sitting in the water as Abby and Lev going off in the boat.
She's take. I think she says like take him and leave. Like she just she can't even look. She doesn't even look at Lev or Abby. Just like she's like sitting in the water and just she can't even look at her anymore. Just like get out of here, because if I see you again, I think I'm gonna try to kill you again. So she's just like take him and leave.
Yeah, at this moment I was a little confused. I was like, why let him go now? And then we get more information in a second here, and it all kind of brings it together. But at this point, I was just like, why the fuck did she let her go now? Like, just kill her then, you know?
Yeah, make it worth it. I think this fight scene was incredible, though. Like, I never played it, and Natalie played this scene. And going back to it, I didn't feel the need to go and do it again. I didn't need to watch it again. I don't know why. It's something that you only want to watch once. And the way they were fighting, I was just watching it.
She's just cutting her.
She both didn't want to. In the end of it, though, they both just didn't want to. They both had no energy. They both Ellie was bleeding out. Abby starved. Like they just lost. They both lost everything at that one moment. Like, what are they fighting for? Like, really now? Like, what have you both lost everything? What? And I think at that moment where like Ellie just stopped, she's like, what? What are we doing? Like, obviously, then Ellie saw that Abby had a purpose, obviously with his kid. Just, you know what I mean? Like, she saw a bit of Joel in Abby. I don't know, but it was.
Yeah, I think she saw a bit of herself from the first game.
This might not be what Joel wants, right? It's her to go off the deep end. You know, so maybe that's what the lasting image of him.
Because if Ellie would have killed Abby right there, she would have gone full. Right, she would have been the same exact spot he was.
And he never wanted that for her, right? He wanted her to be. He wanted to take it on for himself, put it all on his shoulders, because that's the dad in him, right?
Yeah, we'll touch on it again in a minute because it comes back. So then Ellie then returns to the farmhouse. She finds that the house is empty, everything moved. All that's there is her stuff locked away in that one room that looks just her up. So it has all her stuff in there. She then tries to pick up the guitar, realizes she can't play it with the other 2 fingers.
So this moment, all right. So I'm sat there, and I'm watching it, and she's like, dun, dun, and then she's missing the chords. So I'm just thinking, stupid Steve, just learn to play it the other way.
Flip it around.
So then I turn around. I just about to turn around to my missus and go, she should just play it the other way. And my missus is sobbing absolute mess. Worse than the Joel. Worse than any other, like, worse than me, like, you know, being a bastard. Absolutely devastated. I was like, I was like, are you alright? She's like, she can't play the song anymore. I was like, it's alright. It's like, at this point, I had to take her out of it. Like, it's just a game. But it's so sad. Like, I've never seen her anything like, absolutely devastated. And I get it. And, like, I don't think she can even listen to, like, Pearl Jam's song anymore. I don't think she can listen to it. Like, it meant a lot to her. Like, honestly, I've never seen her. It's
one
sad.
devastating scene into one more, which is the next scene.
Which is, we then get our last flashback, the last time we see Joel and Ellie actually speak. He tells her that Dina would be lucky to have her. Ellie says her piece about what happened at the hospital. She feels like Joel took away a chance for her life to mean something. Joel says if he could do it again, all over again, he wouldn't do it any differently. Ellie says she knows and she wants to try to forgive him. Joel replies by saying, I would like that.
With a tear in his
pretty
eyes.
Much where we leave off. And Joel, this was the saddest moment to me.
Yeah, this is the scene when I was done with the scene. That's when I lost it.
So I think this ties back into when Ellie let Abby go, right? Like that moment. I think at that moment, this is why we see Joel in like the full, like at that moment, right? That was Ellie's vision right before she killed Abby. She saw Joel. At the last moment, she saw Joel. And I think she realized that she was going to forgive Joel for what he did, right? She was about to start forgiving Joel for what he did, like the whole events of the first game, the whole hospital thing. She was going to try to forgive him for that. So why can't she try to forgive Abby for what she did, you know? Because it's pretty much the same thing. All Abby was doing was getting revenge for what Joel did, you know? And Joel was just trying to protect her. So if you can forgive him for that, why can't you forgive Abby? You know, it's pretty much the same thing. It's just that circle, right? That never-ending revenge circle.
That's why I think this game is about hope more than it is about hate.
Right. At the end,
hope and love, right?
Mm-hmm. You know, breaking that circle. Like realizing there's no need to continue this revenge, this violence, none of that.
I mean, if she did kill her, let's say she killed her, then Lev's gonna go and kill Ellie. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. Lev's gonna want revenge.
Maybe.
That. It's just the cycle wouldn't have ended. Killing her wouldn't have solved anything.
Two wrongs don't make a right. That's the one thing from all these deep conversations that I've listened to, and I understand them and I get them and I agree with them. Personally, for me, as stupid as a simple-minded I am, I took away from this game that two wrongs don't make a right.
No, you really can break it down that simply. Like, it really does just come down to that if you wanted to. And
as you can tell, I'm very simple.
Sim's a simple man. Simple Sims. What we all call him. We then cut back to Ellie. She puts on the guitar and starts walking away, leaves the farmhouse. We get a beautiful credits.
Yeah.
That was the last.
Yeah, it's a nice shot. It's through the window. You see the part of the guitar, and then you see Ellie walking, just a little bit of the grass. Really nice shot.
So, I got some questions I wrote up here.
And that's the end, boys.
Question. That is the end, except for
Last
this question.
Part 2.
Questions.
So, first question was, what was everyone's take on the ending? I know we kind of just touched on this, but Daniel, what's your thought?
We've had a lot of time to sit on the game now, and I think I'm still thinking about it, right? Like, I haven't stopped thinking about this game. We'll talk about it in the podcast, right? But I'm sitting here playing Ghosts, and I'm like, this game isn't doing it for me. We'll talk about it way more in the main show, but it's just, this game isn't doing it for me. The story's not doing it for me. Like, I love so much about that game, but this game just, it is a masterpiece. I do like this game way more than the first game.
That's my second question.
Okay.
We'll get into why. Sims, what's your overall thoughts on the ending?
I don't know. I think that they did I don't know. I think I walked away from it being, I felt more sorry for Abby than I did Ellie. I was just like, Ellie,
Yeah.
Ellie just took it too far, which I understand. The Joel scene was deep, and like the worst part about it is like you watch that scene, you play it again, you listen to the conversation between Dina and Ellie, and Ellie that day was gonna invite Joel around, like the first step, so soon as well. The day after that conversation, like Ellie was all in on this like forgiveness thing. Like it wasn't gonna be, oh, I forgive you, and then that was it. Like they weren't gonna try and build. Like Ellie was wanted to try. So it's just hard. It's hard. It's just the game's just it's deep, and I get every. I can't say what I want to say. All I know is it's like to see my missus affected like that. Like they've done something right. Where does Ellie go? Is there going to be a third one? Who knows?
We'll get into that too. Yeah, my thoughts on the ending. I love the way they broke the revenge cycle like that. This whole game really worked for me. You know, seeing things from everyone's perspectives. I thought it was a really interesting take. Like, it's something only a video game could have done, right? Showing you these things from everyone.
Literally make you play two different perspectives.
Right, exactly. Like, it's different than just like watching something on a TV show and seeing like other perspectives. When like, I felt way more for Abby being able to play as her.
And like, oh, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you get it. And yeah, just the way they broke the revenge cycle, and now I think we can start a redemption. You know, right? That's kind of where she is now. She hit rock bottom, and it took her to hit rock bottom to see that she needs to break this cycle. So now I think we can go into a redemption type thing.
Yeah. I didn't think that they could make a character that I liked as much as Joel and Ellie.
They kind of did though. Like I don't know. I really like that.
They did.
I don't know.
I didn't think that they.
Them, but
I don't think. I agree. I think that I still like Ellie more, but I didn't think that they could make a character me like her as much as I did.
So this kind of ties into the second question. Do you guys like this game more in part one? Daniel, I know you just said you do, right?
Yeah, I do.
What exactly do you like more about it than part one?
The gameplay's better.
The story's better.
I think the stealth is better, and I like the more stealthy aspect of the game that you could take. I really like the presentation of the two sides. I think that's so unique. You don't really get any of that. You get a little bit of Ellie in the first game when you're mostly playing as Joel, but it really isn't two different perspectives of sides of the conflict.
No, Ellie and Joel are kind of like on the same story, right?
Exactly, yeah. So you just get to play as her. I just think the story is just much better. More fleshed out.
Sims?
Yeah.
You like the game more than the first?
This is where I get really... So yes, I do. I think the game is better in every way, shape or form. Like the gameplay, the story, the acting, everything. Like the game's a masterpiece. Like it's top tier echelon of video games. This is the benchmark now, and I don't think anyone ever will hit it in the way it's been made, if that makes sense. Like put together like a sandwich, if that makes sense. But the first one is just you can play it. Yeah, but it's still special. But you play it, and when you finish it, you don't feel drained. Do you know what I mean? Like the stories, I just think it's a happier story. I know that obviously I know they were going for a different take. I don't think I'd recommend. I don't know. I wouldn't recommend it. If someone's like, I want to play a game, I wouldn't recommend Last of Us 2 because it's just taxing.
Oh, I don't. I disagree.
I know. I mean, I have to read the person. But say if someone not really as invested as we are in video games. Do you know what I mean? That wants to play a game. I wouldn't say.
I'm not gonna go tell my mom to play The Last of Us Part 2.
Exactly, but
I would recommend you have to start with the first game.
Last of Us 1 is just for me as a dad, like watching the relationship grow, the way that Joel warns Ellie. Like there's one scene is like, Ellie, you're on some mighty thin ice now. Like, but it just hits me harder. Obviously, losing Joel was devastating, but I grieved a long time ago, and this is I think the spoilers that robbed me of my grief. Natalie's probably still grieving now. I grieved for about 2-3 weeks on my own, no support.
Sims woke up every morning at like 4 a.m. just started crying on the side of his bed.
Just sat there thinking about it though. But I'm trapped in this like curse. Like I can't tell anybody.
Your wife's like, honey, what's wrong? And you're just crying like, I can't tell you.
Can't tell you why I'm crying. That scene's just really powerful. I will remember that scene for a very long time. Because like that scene's it's so much deeper than face value of just the death, right?
As a game, it's better in every way. Personally, I prefer the first one.
I understand.
I have been thinking about this for a while. It's really close, but I like part 1 more. I think part 1 tells a more simple story. I think it's a better told story. Part 2 gets very complicated, and I love it, but like it gets convoluted and complicated.
There's a ton of characters.
There's a ton of characters. There's a lot going on, a lot to remember, a lot of places, a lot of groups, all this stuff.
Yeah.
And I do think this thing I read online that like the game should have been day 1 Ellie, day 1 Abby, day 2 Ellie, day 1 Abby. I do think that would have helped it for me, like being able to tie everything together more.
I think I mentioned it earlier, but I think that you having full chunk of just Abby, I think, is necessary. You need to like her. I think if you're bouncing back and forth between her and Ellie, you won't like Abby nearly as much.
Sure, and maybe I only say that because I already do like Abby because I played through it twice now and already that whole thing. So maybe you're right. But
I think you need to spend that time with her to really understand her and not just
maybe have a longer
going
part
back
with
to
Abby in the beginning. Then maybe have her like you're playing as her for a while before she leaves for Jackson or whatever.
Maybe
something like that. Yeah, maybe you could do that. So yeah, I just think Last of Us Part 1 is just like such a well-told story. That's why it's being made into a TV show, right? It's just like
well, they haven't said they were adapting the games.
I think they have. Yeah, they did. It's like
they did? Okay.
Carbon copy, straight from the game.
Okay, I guess I didn't see that.
Yeah, I just think it's just like a simply told story. Not simple, like I mean, Last of Us 1 is complicated too, but like it goes from point A to point B to point C, and until it ends, right? There's like The Last of Us Part 2 is just all fucking over the place.
Yeah, there is too many characters in number 2. Like number 1 is so like focused and these side characters in and out
from group to group, right? Exactly. It's like you don't see Sam and his brother pop up again. Or, you get that short little story and then it moves on. Right?
Mm-hmm. Obviously, this helps with me playing number 1 like a week before number 2. So
right.
Playing them side by side.
And
I guess for me, I love a ton of characters, so it didn't bother me.
I don't think we're saying it's a bad game.
The gameplay in Part 2 is better, right?
No, I understand.
Yeah, clearly the gameplay in Part 2 is better, right? I mean, it's just that's just naturally gonna happen, pretty much, right? Unless you like the development team like really fucked up, right? But like it is better in that sense. So I kind of just have to compare the stories, right? I mean, this game came out how many years after the first one? 7 years, right?
7 years.
Yeah. So I mean, naturally the gameplay is gonna be better. It's gonna be updated. I mean, it's fucking Naughty Dog, so you know they're gonna come with it. So I kind of just have to compare it story to story, and I think I just like Part 1 a little bit more.
Just if you're comparing stories, number 1's the better game.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't think so, but that's me.
And then third and final question: what does everyone want to see from Naughty Dog next? Daniel, start with you.
Good question.
I would like 3. You want a new IP?
I would like them to come back to this universe. I don't know if I want that to be their next game. I might want to see maybe a new IP or something.
Let's do
that
this
would be
too. Even if you want a new IP, go ahead and say that. But
okay, yeah, number
say
1.
Say what you would
IP.
want for Part 3 as well.
Okay, so number 1, I want their next game to be a new IP. A couple years later, new IP, and then the game after that, I would like them to come back. I would like I guess a game where you play as Abby and Ellie. 2 different games.
Again? Oh, 2 different games. Okay.
Yeah.
That could be interesting.
So in one, but make their story intertwined. But have Lev and Abby with the Fireflies have Ellie and Tommy and Dina and Jackson doing their story, and then have it intertwined some way.
Sims?
I think that's what I would want.
I listened to that Laura Bailey thing today. I think that's where I heard it from. Like Ellie goes to find the Fireflies because Ellie doesn't know that Abby was going to get it for the Fireflies. Am I right?
But we didn't see Ellie know anything about them either.
But maybe
I don't think Ellie's aware there
she
are
might
Fireflies.
She might just go and have a look. Do you know what I mean? Someone could tip her off at the beginning of the game or something, and then obviously then runs into Abby, and then somehow they have to work together.
They come together,
and then obviously because the one thing that bugs me about number 2 is Ellie doesn't know why Abby did it. She never found out that it was a dad. If they just sat down in that theater, put kettle on, and said, "Look, I killed Joel because he killed my dad, and obviously you know that you would have been the cure. I'm sorry, but it's something I had to do. I hope you understand." And they'd be like, "I don't understand, but I do get it." And then either they either kill each other or they just walk away. Everything gets sold over a cup of tea, boys, and these girls are just not doing it.
I don't think so, but
not in America.
Like she knew that she knew that Joel did something bad, and that's why. And I think that's all it needs to be.
I think the game would have been lots better. She kills Jesse, and then let's just sit down, let's have a chat, all right, and then you just move on. All right, Ellie's like, "I'm sorry about Abby. I'm sorry about Owen. I'm sorry about Mel," and then Abby's like, "Don't worry about Mel. You did me a favor." I'm sorry.
Ellie walks out that door like fucking Chris Hansen. Like, hey, take a seat. Take a seat, Abby. Just take a seat. Let's just talk this out. So I would like to see a new IP first. Preferably that sci-fi one. Man, they got those Savage Starlight posters everywhere in this fucking game. Make that a game.
All them superheroes and stuff.
They need a game.
I want Naughty Dog to make like a Guardians of the Galaxy in space type thing. Not necessarily Guardians of the Galaxy, but like a funny, silly space game. I think they could use that too after making.
I think that this game,
long, dark, depressing game.
I think Last of Us Part 2 shows that they want to have more complexity than it just be funny. So it probably, if anything, it'd be funny with other things mixed in. It wouldn't.
Just give me an Uncharted in space. Like, I mean, obviously,
even Uncharted 4 has a lot of complexity.
Yeah, I'm not saying don't make it complex and don't make it dramatic. I'm just saying I would like.
You want it to lean more comedy.
A lighter tone space game. Yeah.
Sure.
I was talking to a friend yesterday. He's not played the game. He's not interested, but he obviously he knows what's happened. Obviously, it's all around the world. So he was just saying, like, he made up a good point of these developers that have made the game as gory as it is, limbs flying off, as realistic as it looks. Like, he was saying, like, these developers, these, artists, whoever's, like, made these designs, have had to research this shit. Do you know what I mean? Like, look at pictures. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's got to be, like, psychologically, like, taxing. Been on a game, making a game for 5 years.
Joel's bashed in head for hours on end.
Exactly. And, so I've been thinking about that for the last 24 hours. I'm thinking, you bring up a question, what do you want to do next? They need to do something a bit light-hearted. Not for us, for us as gamers, but for these developers that have just spent 5, 6, 7 years making a depressing game.
You're right.
Do you know what I mean? Like, Sam, like, big up to Sam. Like, Sam broadened my horizons yesterday. But he made a right good point. Like, imagine working on this game for 5 years. As much as they're enjoying it, as much as they love their job, it's got to be emotionally taxing. Just talking about death and revenge and all this violence. And I know it's
you're coming in, 5 days a week at least, working however many hours. I'm assuming they work a lot of fucking hours at Naughty Dog.
Of course they do.
And you got to make this giant, depressing zombie world. It probably gets pretty taxing.
Mm.
And then, for part 3, I'd like to see. I like the idea Daniel just brought up of like make another game, then come back, do part 3 again, probably like towards the end of the PS5 generation. Do like the same thing they did with this.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'd want to see for part 3. Obviously, I think it should end with Ellie actually having the surgery. Somehow they find a doctor or whatever. She gets in touch with the Firefly. and Ellie actually does sacrifice herself for the vaccine. That's how I would like part 3 to end, or this whole series to end, just in general.
I think it has to. Doesn't it?
I don't think that this world is enough is like savable anymore.
I think if you got the virus, that would really.
Cure.
That could, because like I just said with the ending, I think Ellie is now beginning her redemption arc. So I think that'd be a really good way to end her redemption arc, is her sacrificing self for the great of humanity type thing. I don't know how you'd get there. I don't know how you start the game. What are the characters? Obviously, you'd have to introduce some villain in there. Maybe Isaac is alive. Maybe he's going after Abby. I don't know. You figure out something with that. That'd be for them to figure out. But yeah, I do hope there's a part 3 at some point. I think Last of Us Part 1, when that ended, I didn't want a part 2, right? I think you guys were the same.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't feel like we needed a part 2. I do feel like we need a part 3 of after this. Like, I don't think Ellie's story should just end here.
No. There's more. There's more to tell. They just need to figure out a way to tell.
I think she has to find a meaning. Like you just hit nail on the head. Like,
I think that she did though, and I think that I'd prefer just to see her have a happy ending.
I don't think so. I don't think she can just like go find Dina now, and they're just gonna go live a happy life in Jackson. Like,
I think that's what. I don't think that's an option. That's what I would want. I think that's.
I think that was the message anymore for Ellie. I think she's already lost that.
I think that the message that she took from Joel is that.
Yeah, I think she would like that. I don't think it's gonna happen.
Okay.
But with that was our Last of Us 2 spoiler cast. First spoiler cast.
That was a great episode. That was.
It only took us a month to film. I mean, shit.
I got a webcam.
3 outfit change for everyone. Yeah. Daniel got a fucking webcam in the middle of it.
Weird. I've got to edit 7 parts of this video. Well, please like and subscribe.
We wish Sims good luck with that. Please subscribe to our channel so Sims doesn't feel like this is pointless. Yeah, and yeah, goodbye everybody.
Bye everybody.
Goodbye everybody.